A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the time, 150 years from now. The place, a luxury spaceship en route to Venus. The story, Venus is a Man's World, by William Tenn.
Some fellows are lucky. They have brothers, but not me. I have nothing but sisters. 2 of them, Carrie and Evelyn. Sometimes Carrie isn't too bad, for a girl, I mean. But Evelyn, boy, she's hopeless. It was Evelyn's idea to put me on that spaceship, jam-packed with 300 females, and all of them aching to get themselves husbands. In the one place that's still to be had, the planet Venus. Well, anyway, 20 minutes after we took off from the spaceport, I was bored stiff.
Ferdinand, do stop fidgeting and sit down.
I don't have anything to do.
Well, I'll read to you and Carrie. Would you like that?
No. I want to do something.
What's the name of the book, Sis?
Well, it's titled Family Problems of the Frontier Woman. Doesn't it sound intriguing?
Peachy keen.
That's enough out of you, young man. Why don't you take a walk around the ship?
Can I go with Ferdinand, Sis?
Well, wouldn't you rather we start the book?
You should, Carrie. Every girl should read about the family problems of the frontier woman.
Keep quiet, you boy.
Oh, children, let's have enough of that. Now, go ahead, run along, you two. And Carrie, look after Ferdinand. See that he keeps out of mischief.
Gee, this is one big ship, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I sort of wish we were on a cargo ship instead of this liner.
Why? This is super.
On a cargo ship, we could go climbing from deck to deck on a ladder. We could even go to the bridge or the forecastle. Talk with the crew.
That's silly. Why would anyone want to do that?
Because ship's crews are men.
Only because we women are too busy with important things like government to run ships.
Says you. Hey, what are you looking at?
This sign. In the event of disaster affecting the oxygen content of the companionway, break glass with hammer upon wall. Remove spacesuit and proceed to don it.
Boy, I hope we have that kind of a disaster. I sure would like to get into one of those.
Oh, you're silly.
Hey, let's go exploring down this way. I see some portholes.
And I see a sign that says, notice, passengers are not permitted past this point.
Come on, there's no one around. And besides, I'm not really a passenger.
Ferdinand, you say you're not really a passenger. Well, what do you mean?
You have to be a citizen of a planet in order to get a passport, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm telling you. Ever since they passed that Maley Suffrage Act, only women can be Earth citizens. You and Evelyn are passengers, all right. But me, I'm just a male dependent. So when a sign says, off limits for passengers, doesn't mean me. I'm not a passenger, see?
Keep away from that door, Ferdinand. Can't you see the sign?
You and your old sign.
Ferdinand, let's go back to the cabin.
I want to see what's behind this door.
If you don't come back with me this very minute, I'll tell Evelyn.
So what? Hey, this looks like a sonic clock. I wonder if it works by knock or voice.
Ferdinand, I'm going.
Say, I remember one voice key. I wonder if it'll work. 2023, open sesame.
Ferdinand!
Out of all the million possible combinations, I hit it just right. The door clicked open into a dimly lit hole. As the door closed, a hand closed around my throat. The lights came on, and I found myself staring up the muzzle of a highly polished blaster, held by the biggest man I'd ever seen. We just stood there looking at each other for a while, till finally he said...
Why, you're only a tadpole.
Sir?
A little tadpole. I must be getting jumpy enough to splash.
My name is Ferdinand Sparling. I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr.
I hope for your sake you aren't a tadpole brother to one of them husbandless senora.
Husbandless what?
Senora, herd of females looking a nest. I come from Flatway, folks.
You're a Venusian?
Yep. What part of Earth are you from? And what are you doing on a spaceship to Venus?
You know, the 3 out of 4.
Yeah, how's that?
The 3 out of 4. No more than 3 women out of every 4 on Earth can expect to find husbands. Not enough men to go around, with the Third Atomic War and all. Why, back in the 20th century, some of our best men went to the planets. My sister Evelyn says that by now, most of the men on Earth aren't even worth marrying.
Well, that's for sure. Those busybody Anura took care of that. Earth, what a place. I had a belly full.
Why did you come in the first place?
I came looking for a wife. Women are pretty scarce on Venus. I heard that there was a surplus of them on Earth.
I can't understand why any man would even want to marry a woman.
How old are you, Tadpole?
13, almost 14.
Well, that explains a lot of things, Tadpole.
It doesn't explain why you're heading back to Venus.
Because I was in trouble the minute I landed on that woman's world. I didn't know I had to register at a government-operated hotel for transient males. Imagine, they told me a man couldn't say anything in court. All talking was done by female attorneys to a female judge. But I told him off. I told him where I come from, a man spoke his piece when he had a mind to, and his woman walked by his side.
Well, what happened?
Oh, I was found guilty of this and contempt of that. But I wasn't going to serve all those fancy little prison sentences, so I broke out and stowed away.
You mean that you're breaking the law right now?
Sure, aren't you?
Oh, I guess so. I'm also a man outside the law. We're in this together.
Shake, Ferdinand. Ferdinand? That's not a right label for a sprouting tadpole. I'll call you Ford. My name's Butt. Butt Lee Brown.
Is Butt a nickname like Ford?
Yeah, short for Alberta. But I haven't found a man who can draw a blaster fast enough to call me that. You see, Pop came over in the 80s with the first wave of immigrants from Ontario. Named all of us boys after Canadian provinces. I was the youngest, so I got the name they were saving for a girl.
Golly, Mr. Butt, you must have had a lot of brothers.
Yeah, full nest. They're Sass. His real name is Saskatchewan. Manny after Manitoba. And Uke, he was named for Yukon. I got one for every province and territory in Canada.
Golly, all I have is 2 sisters.
Oh? Tell me about them.
Well, there's Carrie. She's almost 16.
Hey, well, how about your other sister? She a little older?
She's old, all right. Evelyn's almost 21.
She pretty?
Who?
Your sister Evelyn.
Oh, I don't know. She's healthy. She's got very good teeth.
If I know her breed, she's bossy and opinionated.
Well, I know women.
Yep. There goes the dinner gong, Ford. You better scat. Growing tadpoles need their vitamins.
Could I bring you some chow? I could stuff it in my pocket and sneak it back here.
No, thanks. I've stashed away enough provisions. I got plenty of kelp and Venusian mud grapes to last the trip. Oh, you better shove off, Ford. They'll start looking for you.
Guess I had better. Well, I'll see you right after dinner, Mr. Butt.
Just plain butt to you, Ford.
Oh, okay. I'll be seeing you. 2023. Open sesame.
Ferdinand, please be seated. I want to talk with you.
Now? They just rang the dinner gong.
I am aware of that. Now, where have you been?
Around.
I demand a straight answer. Where have you been, Ferdinand?
I told you, sis, around. And don't call me Ferdinand. Call me Ford. That's what Butt calls me.
Bart. Who is Bart?
Oh, nobody. I just made it up.
Ferdinand.
I can't tell you. I can't.
You must.
Well, you promise you won't turn him in. Well, Butt's my friend. He's a Venusian. He's going home.
Aboard our ship, the Eleanor Roosevelt? Ferdinand, don't you realize you've been consorting with a stowaway, a criminal? What sort of antisocial ideas has this warmongering masculinist been putting into your head?
Butt's a nice guy. He asked about you.
Oh, indeed.
I told him you had very good teeth.
Really? Well, take me to this man.
I will if you promise not to turn him in.
No, I promise.
He's in there. The door has a sonic lock. I know the combination. Watch. 2023. Open sesame.
Oh, it's so dark in there.
But, I brought along my sister Evelyn. She'd like to meet you. It's all right. Put on the lights.
Oh.
An honor, Miss Sparling. Please come right in.
First, Mr. Bott, I want...
Brown. Butley Brown.
First, Mr. Brown, you realize that you are committing 2 crimes. 1, the political crime of traveling without a visa, and 2, the criminal act of stowing away without paying your fare.
Golly, sis, that's no way to talk to Bud.
I take it you either have no defense or care to make none.
I wonder if all the Inura talk like that. And you want to foul up Venus.
We haven't done so badly on Earth after the mess you men made of politics.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, hear.
Oh, you keep quiet, Ferdinand. And another point, Mr. Butley Brown. I don't suppose you know that under space regulations, you've made this poor child an accessory.
Bud didn't make me anything.
Let's not talk law, female. Let's talk sense. I'm in trouble because I went to Earth to look for a wife. You're standing right here now because you're on your way to Venus for a husband. So, let's.
Let's what? Are you daring to suggest
Now,
that...
Miss Sparling, no hoopla. I'm saying let's get married, and you know it.
Gee, sis, say yes.
And what makes you think that I consider you a desirable husband?
Figure it this way. If you wanted a poodle, you're pretty enough to pick one up on Earth. When you go charging off to Venus, you don't want a poodle, you want a man, and I'm one. I own 3 islands in the Galertan Archipelago. Good farmland when they're cleared. I got no bad habits, outside of having my own way. I'm passable good-looking. My teeth are good, too. Besides, if you marry me, you'll be the first mated on this ship, and that's a splash most nesting females like to make.
You know, there's more to marriage than just doing...
So there is. Well, we can try each other for taste. Now, me, I'd vote yes.
Me too, I'd vote yes.
Now I'll cast my vote.
Well, you guessed it. She broke her promise. I suppose the kiss did it. She put it a stowaway to the captain, and he sent the detail from the ship's crew to haul Bud off to the brig. Well, later that afternoon, all the passengers, 300 females and me, gathered in the lounge for the hearing. It's all on account of you. Shush. Don't shush me. You promised your word wouldn't get Bud into trouble. Oh, you snitch.
Shush, the captain is rapping for quiet.
By authority vested in me under the Pomona College Treaty, the stowaway, a Venusian, Butley Brown, will be tried for violation of Articles 16 to 21 inclusive of the Space Transport Code. Purser, bring in the prisoner. Ladies!
Those cheap extroverts, and they call themselves responsible.
Ladies! Dear ladies! Thank you, ladies. Butley Brown, I order your person and belongings impounded for the duration of this voyage as set forth in sections 41 and 45.
Captain, the sections are 43 and 45.
You're quite right, Miss Sparling. Sections 43 and 45 of the Mother Anita Law Emergency Interplanetary Directives.
Aren't you even going to give me a fair trial before you hang me?
Ladies, I beg of you, ladies.
Captain, what exactly are the charges against me?
You're a stowaway.
I can pay for my passage.
You can? Well, then I guess we can dismiss the charges. Ladies, gentle ladies.
Just a moment, Captain.
Yes, Miss Sparling?
I demand justice. You can't let him off that lightly. Besides, there's the other charge.
What other charge?
Assault. That comes under sections 18 through 35 of the McDonald Law.
It does? Well, then would you tell the court in your own words exactly what happened?
Well, when I first laid eyes on Mr. Brown, he seemed to be a fundamentally decent chap, despite his barbaric notions on equality between the sexes, or worse. I was positive I could shame him into a more rational social behavior and make him give himself up.
Go on, Miss Sparling.
Just as I was getting over the colossal impudence involved in his proposing marriage and was considering the offer seriously on its merits, as one should consider all suggestions, he deliberately dropped the pretense of reason.
Get her.
Ferdinand!
My name is Ford, and you're nothing but a big snitch. You promised not to get Butt into trouble.
Your name is Ferdinand, and stop trying to act forcefully like a girl. It doesn't become you.
Miss Sparling, did I understand you to say that you were considering Mr. Brown's proposal of marriage?
That is true. I will not deny that he appealed to me. He appealed to me as most savage ancients appeal to their women, as an emotional machine. Throw the proper switches, says his theory, and the female surrenders herself ecstatically to the doubtful and bloody murk of masculine plans.
I'm afraid I still don't understand. What exactly did Mr. Brown do?
He kissed me.
Ladies, please, ladies. Mr. Brown, do you deny kissing Miss Sparling?
No, Miss Sparling, do you deny enjoying the kiss?
Your question is irrelevant and immaterial.
Oh, she enjoyed it.
How would you know?
Well, I was right there. I could tell the way she acted. She sort of held the back of his neck, closed her eyes, and just hung on.
What were you doing there?
I introduced him. I met Bud first. Then I took Sis over there to meet him.
I see. Ferdinand Sparling, I hereby order your detention for the duration of this voyage for aiding and abetting a stowaway as set forth in sections 41
43
and 43
and 45.
and 45.
And you can't arrest Ferdinand. He's only a child. You gave me your word no charges would be lodged against the boy.
That was the usual promise one makes to an informer. But I made it before I knew it was Butley Brown you were talking about. I didn't want to arrest Butley Brown. You forced me. So I'm breaking my promise to you, just as I understand you broke your promise to your brother. I'm afraid both Ferdinand and Butley Brown will be picked up at New Kalamazoo Spaceport and sent terrorward for trial.
But I used all our money to buy passage.
I'm sorry. You'll have to return with your brother. Of course, there is a way out.
There is? Well, tell me, please.
Miss Sparling, if you'd marry Brown... Now, don't look at me like that. If you'd marry Brown, he would go on your passport as a dependent male member of your family.
Do you think I'd marry that desperado? Why, he doesn't know enough to sit back and let a woman run things. Captain, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'll marry him!
Perhaps I should be, but that's what comes of putting men in responsible positions. See here, Miss Sparling, I didn't want to arrest Brown. I'd still prefer not to. The officers and crew of my ship all go along with me.
Why not? Men always think like men. They never use logic. They just rely on masculine intuition.
Maybe so. This ship's crew are all residents of Earth. But our work requires us to be on Venus several times a year. We wouldn't want to cross any member of the Brown clan. They're all men of influence on the polar continent.
I wouldn't doubt that for a second. If anyone gets in their way, they merely oxidize them with a blaster.
Take Butt. He's a big man in his own bailiwick, the Galertan Archipelago. When he wants to put somebody in office, well, he just appoints them.
Mr. Brown has that much influence, you say?
Power, actually. The kind a strong man usually wields in a newly settled community.
Oh, Mr. Brown, if I marry you, would you promise to see that I'm appointed resident governor of the Galertan Archipelago?
No.
Attaboy, Bart. Don't give in.
Ferdinand, this does not concern you. Mr. Brown, I might even consider a county clerkship.
Nope.
Stick by your blasters, Bud. Show her you're a real man.
Mr. Brown, it would seem to me that if you really want to marry this attractive young lady, a compromise could be worked out.
Well, I could make her sheriff.
Oh, no.
Would the position of sheriff of the Galertan Archipelago be acceptable, Miss Sparling?
Yes.
Good. I'll marry you here and now.
I want to be a bridesmaid. Always a bridesmaid. Never a bride. That's the every time.
Bud, you shouldn't have sold out. Why did you do it? You don't have to marry her for my sake. I wouldn't care what they did to me.
That's all right, Tadpole. I'd do anything for my favorite brother-in-law.
I'd sure like to be your brother-in-law. But gosh, you don't have to marry Sis. You can have any one of these 300 females. Why marry Sis?
I'm stubborn. What I like at first, I keep on liking. What I want at first, I keep on wanting until I get it.
Yeah, but making her sheriff. What's going to happen to our man's world?
Don't worry none about that, Ford, my boy. Wait till after we meet and go out to my islands. She'll find herself sheriff over exactly 2 Earth males, you and me. And I got a hunch that'll keep her pretty busy, huh? How about that,
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features An Eye for a What? A story of the Earthmen who thought they couldn't hurt a friendly alien if their lives depended on it, while all the time their lives did depend on it. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Venus is a Man's World, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by William Tenn and adapted for radio by Arthur Small. Featured in our cast were Dennis Bellavio as Ford, Bob Haig as Butt, Jerry Ann Raphael as Carrie, John Gibson as the captain, and Frederica Chandler as Evelyn. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Next week, X-1 presents Trap by Finn O'Donovan. Fur hunters tangle with a bottle of firewater and a new kind of trap which catches more than they bargain for. We hope you'll be listening next week at this same time. This week, the Boy Scouts are celebrating their 47th year of service to American youth. Throughout the country, there will be open houses, courts of honor, indoor and outdoor campfires, cub circuses, scout expositions, explorer events, and other special activities. This is the second year of the 4-year program, Onward for God and My Country, which was launched to help prepare America's boys to live in today's world and prepare them to carry their full share in the years ahead. It's designed to give youth an opportunity to develop physical fitness, self-reliance, a sense of personal responsibility, a spirit of helping people, a willingness to share, an understanding of our government's democratic processes, and a firm spiritual foundation. On Sunday, February 10th, churches of all faiths will observe Boy Scout Sunday, with scouts attending services in uniform. The world on a new hotline. Listen for news on the hour and the exciting hotline service all day, every day, on most of these stations.
Jerry Hall and his friends have now been more than 48 hours on the Magic Island, and in these weird and terrifying surroundings, it seems much longer than that. However, they have found Mrs. Gregory's long-lost daughter, Joan, and though they are all prisoners of the mad scientist G-47, and the Gregory yacht is tied fast to one of the piers on the island of Euclidia, there is a spirit of hope on board, as Joan and her mother talk in Mrs. Gregory's cabin, while Jerry and Captain Tex Bradford are busy in another.
You should be in bed, Joan, dear. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, and you must be tired after all this excitement.
No, Mother, I am not tired, even though Jerry said my eyes looked like 2 fried blankets.
Not exactly that. Jerry said your eyes looked like 2 fried holes in a blanket.
But that is even more impossible. It would be possible to fry a blanket, I think, if there were any reason for it. But to fry a hole... that is out of the question entirely.
You must learn to take all Jerry says with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt?
There now. I've done almost as badly as Jerry. You'll learn our strange way of speaking someday, my dear. We have a number of expressions that, while probably not correct English, make our meaning known and are in common usage.
I like everything you and your friends say and do, Mother. Captain Bradford is a fine man. And I like that foolish boy, Jerry, also. I would not like to see anything happen to him, but if he does not use more respect in speaking to G-47, I dread to think what the result will be.
Jerry is young and hot-tempered, but he's really a very intelligent young man. And with Tex to steady him, I think Jerry is no more likely to get into trouble than the rest of us.
I am worried about that little bird Jerry sent off. The homing pigeon. Something will happen to it. Mother, it is not easy to send a message from this island.
You're too afraid of G47 and his group of scientists, Joan. After all, they're only human, and all humans make mistakes. I think the pigeon has a very good chance to get that message through to Johnson.
Even if the message does get through, what then?
Hi, Joan. Mrs. Gregory. Captain Brad will be along in a minute.
I'm glad to see you in your own clothes again, Jerry. Yes, I think it was dangerous to have made that coat for you out of the opaque cloth. Someone might have seen you wearing it and thought you had the pigeon hidden under it.
The pigeon got away all right. That's the main thing.
But how can you be sure it got away safely, Jerry?
Well, the only place any of these scientists are is right on the island, inside that magnetic fog ring. Isn't that right?
That is probably so.
Then if the pigeon got through the fog ring all right, there would be no way for anyone on the island to detect it.
No. Are you sure there was nothing metallic on the pigeon?
Oh, no danger there. But I feel that Jerry must have been seen as he turned the pigeon loose. It doesn't seem right that he could walk boldly to the stern of the yacht, take a homing pigeon out of his coat, release it, stand there and watch it disappear through the fog without being observed by someone on the island.
It's too dark out there for anyone to see anything.
But how about the glasses with which they see through the yellow darkness? It may have been dark to you and light as day to those scientists on the island.
Jerry, is the yellow darkness being used tonight?
Nope, just plain old black dark out there. So dark you can't even see the sky.
Then G47 and his assistants can see no better than the rest of us. They have nothing with which to increase their clarity of vision through natural darkness. It is only regarding the convenient dissipation of such artificial obscurity as has been created for their express purposes that they have attained any marked degree of efficacy.
Swell. But what does it mean? Cut it up in little pieces so I can play too, will you?
Cut it up?
Now, Jerry, stop teasing Joan. You know perfectly well what she means.
Well, what if I do? She just thinks she's smart. Show off all those big words.
Is it that you do not understand the big words, Jerry?
Oh, I understand the big words, all right, but... Well, you're too stuck up.
Now, Jerry, Joan doesn't understand that, and I'm sure she didn't mean to be stuck up, as you put it.
Stuck up? I'm afraid I do not follow you, Jerry.
You follow me, all right, but you'll never catch up with me.
Jerry, please don't be rude.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Gregory. I didn't mean to be rude, but... Well, I think she's trying to kid me.
No, she isn't. Joan is confused by all our slang, and she's quite right, Jerry. We do speak badly.
Yeah, I guess we do. I'm sorry, Joan. I didn't mean to make fun of you.
You are a nice boy, Jerry, and I know that if you say anything not nice, it is just because you do not know the correct manner of saying it. And I will gladly teach you how things should be done and said.
Oh, boy. This is sure something good.
Well, this seems to be a happy party.
I'm glad you're here, Tex. These two are almost beyond me.
Captain Bradford.
Yes, Joan?
Did you see or hear anyone near the yacht?
Not a soul.
Then there may be a bare possibility.
Bare possibility of what?
Joan is worried, Tex, about the pigeon. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Mrs. Gregory.
Safe enough to talk now, with all this cloth all over the cabin. All over the yacht, in fact. We can talk in safety, and all's well.
I do not feel sure all is well. How long has the pigeon been gone?
It's just half an hour since I turned it loose.
It should be 15 or 20 miles from here by now.
Yes, there's a little wind from the south, right on his tail. He should be making 40 miles an hour.
But will the poor little bird get lost flying at night?
Oh, those little fellows are smart, all right. I got about all those books on homing pigeons read. Have you got any more, Mrs. Gregory?
We've got lots more books on pigeons back home in Los Angeles. You can read them when we get home, kid.
Captain Bradford, why is it you call Jerry the kid? I thought a kid was a young goat.
Now you're getting what I got, Tex.
You're right, Joan. I shouldn't use that expression. But if we're around you long enough, you'll have our English all straightened out for us.
And, Joan, there is one thing I must tell you. It's very rude for younger people to correct older ones.
Even if the older ones are wrong?
Give it up, Pat. We've got a lot to learn about each other, Joan, and it takes time. Now about the pigeon. Sure it got away, Jerry?
Oh, sure. It fluttered around a minute, acted kind of mixed up, then it got straightened out and took off through the fog due north. That is, if this pier runs north and south.
It does. This is Pier 5, and directly across the island is Pier 11. The two piers are exactly north and south. Will the pigeon fly to the boat your Johnson is on, or will he fly to Los Angeles?
Oh, he couldn't reach Los Angeles if he tried to. But he won't try.
I think that is wonderful. train them to do that, or do they do it naturally?
They're very carefully trained, Joan. Anyone can train them who has a little patience and will take a few minutes a day with them. We have many pairs of them in Los Angeles, each pair trained to go to a different place or type of place.
You start them out just a little way at a time, don't you?
The pair we carry on this yacht, the one Jerry just released and the other still in the coat, were trained to go to the boat Johnson is now using. And they will go to that boat no matter where it is, though it seems easier for them if they make their long flights in the same general direction as their training flights.
Tell me about training them, will you please, Mother?
We started them when they were so young they really just flapped their wings and walked. It was hardly flying. The two boats were anchored side by side in the harbor, and we put a runway between them so the young birds wouldn't fall into the water and become frightened.
I read all about how to do that. You put their food and water at the other end of the board, inside a little coat, and taught them to go over after it. Isn't that it?
Yes, Jerry. And each day we increased the distance they had to go and kept raising their coat up the mast until they could fly into it easily and naturally.
That is wonderful, Mother. I think more wonderful than any of the scientific discoveries on this island.
The more we learn about science, any of the sciences, the more we learn how wonderful nature is. Did you ever stop to think that no matter how much we may learn about the universe and the things that make it up, we are only learning the things nature has known all along?
Gee, I never thought of it that way. But you're right. Here these little homing pigeons take off from a strange place in the dark and fly straight for a boat hundreds of miles away.
How long will we have to wait?
That'll depend on how far Johnson is from us when the pigeon meets his boat, and also on whether we will be allowed to receive a radio message when Johnson sends us one.
Well, suppose Johnson tries to send one of his pigeons to us. I mean, before ours gets to him.
That might be dangerous, Tex.
I think not. The chances are G47 will discover this bird is missing at daylight, if he hasn't discovered it already. And by that time, the damage is done anyhow.
But Johnson would not know about the magnetic fog and all these things on Euclidia. Might he not use some metal to fasten the message to the pigeon?
He might, though we got some word of the magnetic fog to him in our first radio message. And Johnson is clever.
That fog wouldn't hurt the pigeon, would it?
No, but the metal on it would set off the alarm, and the pigeon would be held to the fog until rescued.
The danger of that is, as soon as the magnetism was released, the pigeon would be frightened and confused and either fall into the water or get lost trying to get back to Johnson.
Yes, and if Johnson's boat is too far away, these young birds might not make the return trip.
Is there nothing we can do about it?
Nothing, dear. For if we acted as if we were too interested in that magnetic fog ring, it would only attract suspicion to us. The longer that pigeon is gone before G47 knows, the better our chances are.
Right. And now there's only one sensible thing to do. Took it right out of my mouth. It's 2 bells. Time we all tried to sleep. Nothing more we can do tonight, and worry won't help the little pigeon a bit. Come on, Jerry.
Good night, Mrs. Gregory. Good night, Joan.
Good night, Jerry.
Skipper will be on deck till daylight. And Jerry and I'll take a turn now and then. Get some rest, Pat. Good night, Joan.
Good night,
Captain.
And now to bed, my dear. First time we've really been able to go to bed in 2 days and nights.
It all seems too wonderful to be true, Mother dear.
Come here, Joan. Kneel down by your mother and we'll say our prayers together. Just as I've always dreamed we might say them someday.
I do not understand, Mother. What is it to say a prayer?
Oh, my dear little girl. With all your knowledge. I might have known it, of course. What would these mad Euclideans know of prayer?
Is it something I should know, Mother?
It's something no human being has ever lived happily without. I'll teach you the little prayer I said when I was a girl. A prayer I've waited 14 years to teach you. And you can say it after me, dear. 15 years old, and no one ever thought to teach you a little prayer.
Why do you cry, Mother?
What? Because I'm happy to know, dear, that with all your learning, there's at least one thing left for your mother to teach you. Now, repeat after me. Now I lay me down to sleep.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
If I should die before I wake.
If I should die before I wake.
I pray the Lord my soul to take.
I pray the Lord my soul to take.
When Jerry Hall managed to get a homing pigeon off through the magnetic fog ring surrounding the Magic Island, The hopes of the Gregory party ran high. Several hours have now passed. It is daylight. The Pigeon should have reached the rescue boat with Johnson aboard, but no word has come from Johnson. The radio is silent. Mrs. Gregory and Joan are pacing the deck of the yacht, waiting for news, while Jerry and Captain Tex Bradford are looking around on the strange Isle of Euclidia.
Here it is after 8 o'clock, Joan. That Pigeon has been gone for 8 hours. And if Johnson has the other boat in the position we expect him to be in... Oh, I forgot we're being overheard, of course.
No, Mother. When the fog ring is down and the air is clear as you see it today, it is almost impossible for the sound waves to be picked up this far from the control room. It is only when we are indoors or against some opaque surface that the danger of being overheard is great. And with the fog ring down, there is nothing for the sound waves to be refracted from.
Then G47 and his men must figure that they're very safe today.
I have never seen the island as unprotected as it appears to be now. And that is dangerous, Mother.
In what way, dear?
Nothing on Euclidia is ever what it appears to be. And the fact that it is apparently quiet and safe makes me very sure that some horrible danger threatens.
Well, what could happen, Joan? I feel we're all reasonably safe so long as G47 wants Captain Bradford's formula and doesn't get it.
That is true. But how long will it be before he does get it?
I think you're needlessly afraid of these scientists, Joan. Tex Bradford is one of the cleverest men I know, and it's entirely possible that he may outwit G47.
I hope you are right, Mother dear.
How good it is to hear you say that, Mother dear. For 14 long years I've looked the world over for you, and at last we're together. Everything seems so bright and cheerful today, the sea so green and sparkling, the air so clear. It's almost as if this island were all a horrible dream.
All that is because the alarms and prisms show there is no boat within 200 miles of us. But let one of those alarms ring, or a shadow cross the plate of one of the reflectors, and in less than 30 seconds the ring of magnetic fog will surround and cover the island, and it becomes just a prison, shut off from the world.
We'll find some way to get back to that world, dear, and then you'll love it just as we do.
One thing that worries me, Mother...
Yes, dear?
That little pigeon left there in his coat. Should we not hide it? G47 was taken away as soon as he discovers the other one has been used.
Tex and I thought of that, but decided it was safer to leave it there.
But, Mother... Mother?
Yes, of course, but he should be.
Mother, what are you talking about?
What? Oh, excuse me, dear. But the significance of something you said a moment ago just occurred to me.
Something I said?
Yes. You said the fog was not in use, and the watch relaxed on the island because the alarms registered no disturbance within 200 miles.
That is right, Mother. A boat of any size with motors running would set off the alarms at 200 miles.
Then that means that Johnson is not where we expected him to be. He should be within 200 miles. And if he's not, where is he?
Would that mean the little pigeon could not get to him?
It might, though twice the distance would be easy for the bird. But if Johnson's boat is running away or far off the course, it could give the pigeon serious trouble.
Then Captain Bradford's formula would be lost with the little pigeon.
The formula wouldn't matter if it didn't fall into someone else's hands, as Tex could always write that out from memory. But I would hate to lose a little Homer. We've used them all over the world and never lost one.
Mother, this Tex you call Captain Bradford, his name is Charles Bradford, is it not?
Yes, dear. Tex is only a nickname. Most of the captain's old friends call him that. I think he learned to fly in Texas during the war.
And your name is Patricia. Yet Captain Bradford calls you Pat. Is that also a nickname?
Yes, dear. Pat is short for Patricia.
But then I want a nickname also. The captain is Tex, you are Pat, Gerald is Jerry, and I want to be... It is not so easy to make a nickname for Joan, is it?
I want to hear your name, Joan. It's both short and pretty, and I like it.
It is a nice name, Joan Gregory. And you gave my name to this beautiful boat. You're a wonderful mother.
Hey, Mrs. Gregory, Joan, where are you?
Back here at the stern rail, Jerry.
Okay, come up.
That Jerry is such a noisy boy, Mother. But I like him. He always wants to laugh and make fun of things.
Jerry's a fine, happy lad, and Tex and I are glad we brought him.
Oh, boy, have I got some news. Captain Bradford sent me over here to tell you folks about it. He'll be along in a minute.
What is it, Jerry?
You have a happy sound in your voice, Jerry. It must be that you have good news.
Has Tex found out something to our advantage?
He sure has. But we'd better get in the cabin, Mrs. Gregory.
It is perfectly safe to talk here, Jerry, when the fog ring is down.
That's what you think. But when I was over in the sound chamber with Tex, we heard you and Mrs. Gregory talking about the pigeon.
Oh, then we said too much.
Oh, you didn't say anything G47 didn't know already. He saw there was only one pigeon at daylight, and of course he tumbled quick that the other one had been sent away. He just laughed at us.
Then what could you have to tell that would be good news?
Well, come inside the cabin where we'll be safe with the opaque cloth.
Right.
Then I'll tell you about it as much as I can till Tex gets here.
Now, what is it, Jerry?
Well, old G47 let Tex and I look through the universal prism reflectors. They were trying to locate Johnson's boat. They got wise about the boat as soon as they noticed the pigeon was going, I guess.
And could you see the boat, Jerry?
Yeah, that's why old G47 is up a tree.
G47 is up a tree?
Oh.
Where is the tree, Jerry?
Forget it. I mean, it's got G47's goat.
Got his goat? But G47 has no goat.
Never mind, my dear. Just let Jerry tell his story.
Gee, thanks, Mrs. Gregory. I can't teach English and tell a story at the same time. Now, look. G47 is worried because a boat got inside the 200-mile alarm limit without setting off the alarm. And it's Johnson's boat, too, I guess. But Tex wouldn't say a word in front of those scientists over there. Just look wise.
Well, that doesn't sound just right, though, Jerry. Johnson would have been tearing along with his motors wide open, and that alarm would surely have picked it up.
Can't that boat be used as a sailboat?
Why, of course, it's equipped with sail as an emergency measure, but I still...
But nothing. Johnson's got the sails up. The motors ain't working, and he's sneaking within 200 miles of here.
That is remarkable, Jerry. Could you see the boat plainly in the reflectors?
Yeah, we could see it all right. But that's where the big laugh comes in, and old G47 is stuck.
I can't see why you feel so cheerful about it, Jerry. Joan has told us that their aeroplanes will do 500 miles an hour.
Yes, Jerry. And if Johnson's boat has been located within 200 miles of here, it will be an easy matter for G47's men to go out and destroy it and be back here in less than an hour.
Well, I guess it would be, if G47 wanted to destroy it.
Jerry, what do you mean?
Well, what I mean is... Oh, here's Tex now. He can tell you better than I can.
Well, Jerry, I see you've started on the news.
Well, he hasn't told us enough to do us any good, Tex.
Is your Mr. Johnson's boat really within the 200-mile limit, Captain?
Yes, and our scientific friends don't seem to know just what to do about it.
But, Tex, they'll attack Johnson, won't they?
I think not. I dropped a hint or two as to what would happen if they did.
But, Captain, it would be very easy for these Euclideans to destroy one boat without danger to themselves.
Sure, but that's the catch in it, Joan. They don't want to destroy it.
G47 figures that Johnson has come to rescue us, and that he will have all our valuable equipment on board, including the materials necessary to compound my formula. And naturally, he wants those materials.
Then why doesn't he just capture the boat and take what he wants? Though he wouldn't find it on board, would he?
No, but as I started to tell you, I dropped a small hint that spoiled all their plans, and will hold them steady for a while, I think. G47 admitted he knew about the pigeon, so I admitted that the message on the pigeon contained orders to Johnson to abandon and destroy the ship if attacked.
Did you really send such orders?
No, but G47 won't harm that boat as long as he thinks anything of value is on it.
Wonderful, Tex. Now we have time to get the truth to Johnson.
I do not like it at all.
Why? What's the matter with it?
G47 would not give up so easily. Something is wrong.
What could he do about it?
Many things. And I'm afraid you will hear more from G47 about this.
Oh, you're always so gloomy.
Joan has lived 14 years on this island, Jerry. She knows more about the power here than we do.
Even so, I don't see where anything could be wrong with this unless... That could be it.
What, Tex?
Joan, could those reflectors they let me look in be tampered with? I mean, so that they could distort the image from me and see it clearly themselves? See something they did not let me see?
I am not sure, but I know that unless you understand the readings of all the instruments and graphs on them, it would be easy to confuse you as to what you were looking at.
Gee, Tex, you don't think there's any mistake about that? You'd know Johnson's boat, wouldn't you? I mean, as plain as we could see it there.
Well, I ought to, kid, but Joan has set me wondering.
You think it's possible they showed you a false image or the image of another boat just to get you to say or do something that might help them to locate and run down Johnson's boat easier?
How about that, Joan? Could that be done?
It could be done easily. I remember when that poor old sailor was here on the island. The Euclideans would often let him look in the reflectors and show him a battleship approaching, telling him it was coming to take him home. And then they'd laugh at him and show him it was merely a reflection of a ship model being built in one of the construction chambers right here on the island.
Oh, this is certainly a mad setup.
Joan's all worried because G47 isn't worried enough about the pigeon. What do you think, Captain?
Yeah, that worries me, too. And now that Joan has shown me that my visit to the reflectors might have been just a game at my expense, I don't know.
And then, too, you must remember that the alarm did not ring. And if your boat was within 200 miles, it should have rung.
And if the boat is not within 200 miles, that's equally as bad. As Johnson couldn't possibly know enough of what we're up against here to keep outside the 200-mile limit.
That one code message we got through to him on the radio, that might have tipped him off to staying away.
Yeah, but if he turned off too soon and ran away too fast and too far, the pigeon didn't get to him. So there we are, right back where we started. Come in.
G47.
Oh, gee whiskers.
The pigeon. He's got the pigeon text.
Yes, I see.
If you have finished your stupid soliloquies, one of you might want to take this pigeon and return it to the code.
Then the pigeon didn't get through the fog? But why? There's nothing metallic on it.
A ring of gas within the fog. The bird fell to the island.
Then you've had that pigeon since midnight last night?
And all that show of worry over the boat and the reflectors was for my benefit, eh?
Tex, your formula's gone from the bird's leg.
Oh, Captain Bradford, G47 has your formula.
Precisely. My assistants are working to compound it in the laboratory now. When they succeed, the lives of you three will be of no further use to the world.
Exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell.
The term genius is fairly common in our language today. I wonder how many of you realize that the term originated with the old Arabian Nights concept of the genie. You know, the magical creature that came in a bottle and had such wonderful powers. The story is about a whole planet of geniuses. Genie. Interesting people to try to enslave, you know. Laboratory scientists have as much fun as anybody else, you know. One of the laboratory laws, sometimes called Finagle's Law or Murphy's Law, goes, in any laboratory experiment, if something can go wrong, it will. Well, this is the story of a planet-sized laboratory experiment in which something could go wrong.
Professor Himes to His Excellency Marshal Gorham. The ship is now in orbit about the planet of destination.
Good. Good. I have a lifeboat prepared for descent with an invisibility screen.
Yes, Your Excellency. How many crewmen will you want to take along?
None. It'll be just myself and you, Professor Himes.
Sir, you, the Marshal, landing on a barbarian world without even an escort, and begging your pardon, sir, but...
Do you mean that the Grand Marshal of the Galactic Imperial Armed Forces can't carry out an undercover inspection on a backward planet without a dozen Marines clanking in his wake?
No, sir. No, sir.
And please remember that the people down there have no weapon more powerful than a bow and arrow. Whereas I will be carrying a nuclear blaster under my coat.
Yes, sir. Of course, Your Excellency.
And while we are down there on that planet, Professor Himes, stand by for possible action. We may have to bombard the place with cobalt missiles. Wipe all the life off it.
Sterilize the entire planet, sir?
You heard me, Professor. I said we may have to. Not that we will. It depends on what I find down there. That peaceful, primitive world may turn out to be just another stupid scientific experiment. Or it may turn out to be the worst danger the Empire and all its stars have faced for 1,000 years. Now, I want you, Professor. I'm in my office at once. Over.
Yes, Your Excellency. Over and out.
Oh, there you are, Professor Himes.
Yes, Marshal Gorham, here I am.
You've arrived at your experimental planet.
I know. I was just watching it float there among the constellations. I don't know a more beautiful sight in the universe.
Well, break out the native costumes for us, too. We're going down.
At once?
I am a military man, Professor, not one of your psychologists. Now, so far, your people have spent 1,500 years studying that planet. But as for me, there's war on the Imperial borders, and I can spare 3 days.
3 days to decide?
To decide whether we can let your experiment go on or whether to discontinue it, shall I say?
But only 3 days. Marshal, you don't realize it would take a week just to explain the statistics of...
I know, I've heard it all. 1,500 years ago, the Psychological Research Foundation decided to learn what makes human history tick by running controlled experiments. So it took a lot of uninhabited planets and put different kinds of people on them.
Their memories wiped out, Marshal. The first generation started out knowing as little as animals. They had to discover everything for themselves. Fire, language, the wheel. Do you imagine that their descendants could have learned enough to menace us? To threaten an empire that for 3,000 years has controlled millions of planetary systems?
We've been through all this before, I've told you again and again, I'm not worried about your other experimental worlds. They're still cavemen or less. But this planet here, pure genius stock. A planet where nobody has an IQ below 150. And God knows how high they go. Well, I just can't tell about them. And His Majesty is worried, too. There have been rumors. He sent me here himself to decide whether or not those rumors could be true.
But the people down there don't even know the Galactic Empire exists. Why, the men there are still farming with plows and sailing in steamships.
Sure. What of it? Ordinary men on Earth with an average IQ of 100 needed maybe 500,000 years to get as far as your geniuses have in 1,500. I understand they've already developed Newtonian physics, chemical batteries, telescopes, world governments. At that rate, they'll be visiting the other planets of this system in 50 years. They'll reach the stars in a century, and then they'll be loose in the Galactic Empire. Do you think they'd fit tamely into the caste system, like good subjects of the Emperor? Why, they couldn't even if they tried. They'd produce a new invention and a new philosopher every day. And that would mean the end of stability, and that, Professor, would mean the end of the Empire.
So you say, but you're a soldier. You don't understand.
Yes, I know. I'm a dirty militarist who can't see past the end of my own guns. All I'm good for is killing, huh? And you're a noble intellectual scientist. Yeah. I've heard that guff before, Professor, and I've gotten pretty tired of it.
But I tell you, the genius people are cooperative and...
My orders are to inspect the place and decide for myself whether they're right or not. So that's what I'm going to do. Come along, Hein.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment. When driving, luck can stay with you for years. But on the road, it can leave you in a split second, a tragic split second. So drive carefully. You will live longer, and you will arrive alive.
There's been considerable discussion of what constitutes good and evil over the last few millenniums. But, you know, there's an interesting comment someone made. I don't know where it did originate. Melodrama is the conflict between good and evil. And tragedy is the conflict between good and good. When two good men, each with a good point to make, get into conflict, that's where real tragedy starts.
All right, Professor. I've got the lifeboat into the atmosphere and leveled off. So where do I head now? Hein. Wake up, you wool-headed dreamer.
I'm sorry, Marshal. I was thinking, looking out the porthole and thinking.
What about?
How lovely the sky is. So blue. And the land below, mountains and forests and hopeful young farms.
Oh, no, a poet yet. Well, I'm thinking about my job of inspection. Where shall we go?
Fly northeast for 700 kilometers and you'll find this planet's largest city. It's also the capital of the world government.
That'll do. I should be able to observe a pretty good cross-section of the genius race.
Do you seriously believe you can decide the fate of an entire world on the basis of what you see in one city? How do you expect to learn anything, even there? You don't speak any of the local languages, not even the international one that developed.
You'll talk for both of us. We'll claim to be visitors from a long ways off, the opposite hemisphere. We'll just wander around town for a couple of days, and I'll get the feel of the place.
You mean you decide whether these people live or die just on the basis of a hunch?
Now, here we are. Landed in an empty meadow. You're sure nobody will happen by?
Well, what do they do? The lifeboat is invisible.
Even so. Well, we don't want the genius people learning the truth, do we, Professor?
No, of course not. On that, you and I do agree. For my own motive is that I don't want to spoil the experiment.
Come on, let's get moving. We'll have to hike into the city. It's nice outdoors. Sunshine. I don't know when I last breathed air that didn't come out of a tank.
And you turn all this into black radioactive ash.
Come on, I said. Let's start walking. Well, there's a road. It's pretty well paved.
Oh, yes. 10 years ago, this was a livestock trail. Today, they're driving steam automobiles over it. I predict that 10 years from now, the first airplane will use this for a landing strip.
But where's the mass market to support all that progress?
There isn't much of one. Actually, most people here are still riding around in buggies. You see, they have a unique social system. The average man on this planet would rather buy a new book than a new gadget. But at the same time, their engineers keep on making inventions because a mind of such power can't help being creative.
And I tell you, the Empire can't afford what you call creativeness. So this is their biggest city.
Right. There are about 1 million people in it.
You call that a city?
Considering the small population of this world, yes.
It's backward, all right. Carts pulled by animals. Water pumped by windmills. Bearded men in clothes of vegetable fiber. Wood and plaster houses. Gas lamps.
That's what I keep telling you, Marshal. These people aren't demons. They're as human as you and I. They're born the same way as us. Grow up, learn, love, laugh, weep, and die like human beings anywhere in all space and time. They simply happen to be more intelligent. Let them live.
70 generations ago, they were savages. They didn't even know how to chip a flint. And now they've come to this.
Yes. Our observers mingling with them in disguise have already learned more about historical dynamics than...
Oh, sure, this city is still primitive. But in another 100 years, they have schools, laboratories. They don't frown on artists and scientists and philosophers. They glorify them. So, in 100 years, they'll be out among the stars. And we don't dare allow that.
But they won't, Marshal. Not necessarily. If only you'd let me show you the economic data. For instance, the great uninhabited spaces they still have right on their home planet.
Shut up, I'm thinking.
Thinking? I don't think you're able to.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I have a knife, Grant, Marshal Gorham. You don't know that, do you? You think I'm just another ineffectual little dreamer, don't you? Well, you may find out different.
If by militarist we mean someone who believes that it is necessary to use physical force to carry out, to implement a theory, a belief, then it looks to me like Professor Heim has become a militarist. He intends to use force, doesn't he?
Canal 2 Solar, Herder.
Saban Hostet.
What did he say, that bellhop or whatever he was?
He wished us good night in the international language. He thinks we're foreigners, you remember?
Ha! If he only knew how foreign.
That's a cheap way to feel superior, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, Heim. I'm still trying to decide what to do about this planet. There are too many paradoxes. The waiter in the restaurant wanted to ask you about the ethnology of the country he thought we came from. This is a nice, clean hotel room, but it doesn't have running water. And yet the clerk downstairs was reading what I swear must have been a mathematical journal.
Does that make them monsters? Under the social system here, such routine jobs are done by students. And, of course, every person on this planet goes through at least 5 years of college. But that's all it amounts to, Gorham.
A whole world of long-haired dreamers who are experimenting with aircraft and rockets, who developed the theory of evolution before they learned how to smelt iron. I don't trust them.
Of course, you don't understand them. You're too... I mean...
Too stupid? Isn't that what you're going to say, Professor? I'm just a dumb militarist who worked his way from private soldier to Grand Marshal of the Galactic Empire. No fine sciences, just a hired hand keeping the barbarian raiders off your scientific back. Well, Professor Heim, I happen to be the man who will decide what's to become of this planet of geniuses.
And have you decided yet, Your Excellency?
Not yet. I can still take a couple of days to...
2 more days? After the Foundation work for 1,500 years?
Hey, what are you doing?
This is a knife in my hand, Marshal Gorham. Don't move. If you reach for that blaster, I'll kill you.
You've gone crazy, huh?
No. You're the crazy one. You're the lunatic who wouldn't blot out man's last best hope, this planet. You allow yourself 3 days to decide the whole future of the world. Now unbuckle that blaster. Don't let your hand come near the trigger. I'll drop it on the floor. Kick it over to me. So. Now I've got you where I want you.
But, Professor, I haven't decided anything yet. I might decide this experiment is safe. I might still report to the Emperor. There's nothing to be afraid of. He can forget your race.
Yes, you might. But I know you won't. I'm going to kill you, Marshal Gorham. I'm going to report to the spaceship captain that you died accidentally. And then I'm going to hope that the next Imperial Inspector will be more reasonable.
Look out! Stand back, you fool! Don't!
I only stabbed you in the arm that time, Marshal Gorham. But you're in a corner now. I'll get you this time.
Slow! Slow! Very down!
Come along. I don't go along, you rat.
Ustanik, Sholti, Klo! Klo!
You spoke their language. You already know the language of this planet.
Aye. The attendant has the key, of course. He's coming in. Drop that knife, Professor Heim. He's a husky chap.
Salomona.
Aye. Take la oderet. Drop that knife, I said, Professor.
Yes, of course.
Sit down, Heim. You look more shocked than I am. Kavla no mat, Odan. He's gone after the first aid kit for me. Not that you hurt me seriously.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
And you're a native of this planet yourself.
Yes. I was born here, though I've lived most of my life out in the Empire.
We thought we were keeping a planet full of geniuses in ignorance. How long have you known?
We began to suspect the truth 500 years ago, when we discovered that all life had evolved from lower forms, but couldn't find a subhuman ancestor for man. Now, finally, your disguised observers were identified. We even used blind man techniques to spot those wearing invisibility screens. Did you really expect you could go on fooling a race with twice your brain power?
Well, we thought so. Yes, I suppose it was foolish.
Some of us wormed our way into space as throwaways or in disguise, that sort of thing. People here live quietly, so as not to give the show away. We don't tell our children the truth till they're old enough to keep up the pretense. But meanwhile, for the past 300 years, our agents have been out in the Empire, learning everything you know, posing as citizens, working up into the key positions of your government. We can do that by sheer merit.
Yes, obviously you can become Imperial Marshals.
Right. And when the Emperor got suspicious, he sent me, his trusted soldier, a notorious anti-intellectual, to check up for him. Naturally, I was going to give this planet a clean bill of health, but I had to string you along first to make it look good. Evidently, I put on a better act than I had planned.
And now that I know your secret?
I'll have to report that you were accidentally killed here, Professor. But don't worry. All you have to do is spend the rest of your life here as one of us. I don't think you'll mind that.
Oh, no, not personally. I'd enjoy it. I used to envy the people on this world. But when your race, when you've completely taken over the Galactic Empire from within, what do you plan to do?
Well, we'll remodel it, shall I say. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand exactly what we intend to do. It's a little beyond your grasp, but it will be for the benefit of the ordinary galactic citizen, too. The poor, backward, benighted galactic empire.
They say that the first requirement for teaching a dog to do tricks is that you have to know more than the dog. If you want to teach a planet full of geniuses to do tricks for you, first make sure you know more than the geniuses. You can enslave some kinds of entities, but you can't enslave. You can't impose on entities who are more intelligent, more thoughtful, more wise than you yourself. What will happen is they'll turn out to be helping you in disguise.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Ron Dawson and Al Ruscio. Script was by Powell Anderson, produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Guy Wallace speaking.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman! Guys, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. The mystery Superman is trying to solve, the mystery concerning the strange disappearance of a freight car carrying $5 million in gold, is rapidly drawing to a close. As our last episode ended, we heard how Mr. Van Doren, president of the Metropolis National Bank, planned to move another $2 million in gold from a distant city to cover part of the $5 million that had vanished. We also heard how the boss, mastermind behind the vanishing of the freight car, schemed to blow up Rainbow Bridge, over which the train must pass, and make off with the gold shipment once again. Our scene is now the city room at the Daily Planet. Clark Kent is talking with Jimmy Olsen. Listen.
Well, it doesn't seem possible, Mr. Kent. The freight car carrying $5 million was attached to the train when the train reached Baldwin.
That's right, Jimmy. Except when the train arrived at Metropolis, the freight car was missing.
And the train didn't stop between Bolton and Metropolis.
Right.
I don't see how it could have been done. You have to be Superman to figure that one out.
Yes, I dare say you would.
Well, it sure is a case. What with Miss Lane being stopped over the head and everything. Oh, I went to see her in the hospital today. She's feeling okay again.
Yes, I know. I went up to see her myself.
Now, there's something funny. About Mr. Fortune, I mean. The only way he can get her out of his office is by going through Mr. Van Doren. Mr. Van Doren sees him come in, but doesn't see him go out.
That's right. And yet, when we went into Fortune's office, he was gone. Completely vanished. Just like the freight car.
And a few minutes later, in comes this Miss Bailey and faints. She tells you Fortune's outside. When you go outside, there he is dead. How did he get there? Oh, I'll get it. Hello? Oh, yes, Mr. White, he's right here. Where? Oh, okay, sir, I'll tell him. Hey, Mr. Kent, it's Mr. White.
Yeah?
He's calling from the hospital where Miss Lane is.
Okay, give me the phone, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hello, Chief. Yes. How is she? Oh, fine. What's that? Another shipment of $2 million? From where? Hawthorne. I see. Well, catch a plane? Yes. Sure, okay. All right, but I don't think anything will happen this time. No, that's true. You can't be sure. Okay, I'll get a plane this afternoon and ride the train back to Metropolis.
A plane trip? Gee, could I go, Mr. Kent?
Yeah.
Try and get me to go, too, huh?
Sure, Chief, but...
Oh, please, Mr. Kent, try to wise with her.
Wait, Jimmy, wait a minute. Yes, Chief. Oh? Yes, okay.
Oh, gee,
What?
you can't ask him, huh? Tell him
What
you
is
need me along or something.
Okay, Chief, I'll do that.
Oh.
By the way, what are the chances of taking Jimmy Olsen with me? Well, I could use somebody to help out with things. I can't do everything, you know. Different when Lois is along, but...
What's he saying, Mr. Kent?
I see. Okay, Chief. Well, goodbye.
What's he say, huh? Can I go, Mr. Kent? Can I?
Jimmy, I'm afraid it's just impossible to leave you behind.
You mean I can go on a plane and everything?
That's right.
Yippee!
Hey, can't strain that kid, will you? How can a guy work? Take it easy, Jimmy.
Huh?
There's lots to do. We'll have to catch the 3:30 plane for Hawthorne.
Oh, jeepers, I almost forgot. Why are we going?
A fine newspaper man you're going to be. Well, here's the story. Van Doren of the Metropolis National Bank is having another shipment of gold sent through from Hawthorne.
Yeah?
$2 million worth. Well, we've got to go to Hawthorne by plane and then come back by train, just to be on the train in case anything breaks.
Boy, oh boy, is this going to be exciting.
Well, I wouldn't get too excited about it. I don't think anything will happen this time.
Why not?
Well, for one thing, I don't believe the boss would try the same scheme twice. For another, I doubt whether he'll have the opportunity with the police hot on his trail.
Yeah, but gee, riding an airplane.
Well, you won't even get that if you don't scoot home and get some things packed. I'll meet you at the airport at 3:25. I'll call up now and reserve seats on the plane. Tickets will be waiting for us in the office when we get there.
Boy, I'm on my way. See you at the airport.
Kind of knocks my plans into a carcat. I wanted to have another look at those tracks between Bolton and Metropolis. Got a theory as to how that freight car vanished. Now I've got to go to Hawthorne. I wonder... Why, sure. I could send Jimmy on by plane and then meet him at the train later. I'll do that. I can leave a message for him at the airport ticket office. Order.
Passengers for 3:30 plane assemble at gate 6, please. Passengers for 3:30 plane assemble at
You, Jimmy Olsen?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir.
I have a message for you from a Mr. Kent.
Gee, is the trip called off?
Now, I have your ticket right here.
Oh.
Mr. Kent said to tell you he wouldn't be able to take this plane, but for you to go on. He said he'd managed to meet you on the train in Hawthorne.
Okay. Gee, for a moment I thought the trip was off.
Here's your ticket, and I think you'd better get on the plane now.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Oh, stewardess, keep an eye on that boy. He's traveling alone in that situation.
Inspecting these tracks is a lot easier as Superman than it would be as Clark Kent. I hope Jimmy got my message all right. I couldn't go to Hawthorne without finding out whether my theory about that vanished freight car is right or not. There we are. Now, let's see. The tracks run along the base of this mountain. Why wouldn't it be possible for... Wait. There's a movement in the brush near that track. Better hide. I was right. That brush heap is being moved aside. There's a man emerging from it. I knew it. That brush hides a hole dug into the side of the mountain. An entranceway. They could dig a hole large enough to admit a man. They could dig one large enough to admit a freight car. I'll question that man. You! You there! Stand where you are!
What the... Hey. Who are you, buddy? What are you doing here? What's with those trick clothes?
I'll do the questioning. Where does that tunnel lead to?
Bud, I think maybe you better come with me.
What do you mean?
Get this straight, fella. Whatever happens, I can't let you go back to town and start blabbing about that tunnel, so you better come with me.
I wouldn't...
Don't argue, buddy. I got a gun. You better come quiet.
All right. I'll come with you.
That's the way to talk. Step into the tunnel.
Very well. Where does this tunnel lead to?
You'll find out. Keep moving.
Wow, this is the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Take a good look. You ain't going to see it again.
You don't mean you're going to...
Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Okay, here we are. Now just wait till I open this door.
Hey, you guys. Hey, look what I brought you. What is it? Quite the fancy outfit. Shut
up, guys. Shut up. This is serious. Where'd you get this guy, Muggsy?
I found him walking along the tracks outside the mountain.
Yeah? What were you doing this far out of town on the railroad tracks? Come on, pal. Talk. Is that a freight car?
Yeah, that's a freight car, all right. What are you doing outside?
I'm more interested in knowing what you men are doing inside this mountain. That's a shortwave radio apparatus over that corner, isn't it?
I'll ask a question, pal. You answer him.
This is so amazing.
Yeah?
Why, it's like a huge cave in here. A huge cave inside a mountain.
Yeah.
Anyone riding in a train on the tracks outside would never suspect it. And what's that freight car doing in here? It doesn't look like an ordinary freight car. And that shortwave sending and receiving apparatus. You don't understand it.
And we ain't explaining it to you. Okay, buddy. I don't know what you was doing outside or how you got there. All I know is you got to get rid of it. Muggsy.
Yeah. What's he going to do?
Just stand where you are and keep looking at me.
What? Now, listen. Why, Muggsy, what did you do?
I come up here, I hit him over the head with the iron bar, and he's like, hey, look at that iron bar, better too.
I see all you men are starting to produce guns. Let me advise you, they'll do you no good.
I will see about that. Let him have it, those guns.
Come on.
Come on, all of you. One for you. And one for you.
You fool. You try it yourself, Phil.
Okay, I will. And when I hit a guy, you go. Well, there are still 6 of you left, but you all seem to be hanging back.
We got enough. We don't know who you are, but we got enough.
Good. And now I've got to find out how you got that freight car in here.
As Superman prepares to find the answer to the riddle of the vanishing freight car, Jimmy Olsen in Hawthorne boards the train which is to carry the $2 million gold shipment to Metropolis. Neither Superman nor Jimmy know that the boss plans to blow up Rainbow Bridge while the train is passing over it. Listen.
Hey, kid. What you doing standing here beside this caboose?
Oh, I'm looking for Mr. Kent. Clark Kent.
Oh, Clark Kent of the Metropolis Daily Planet?
That's right. He's supposed to meet me on the train here. I arrived a little while ago by plane.
Well, then you must be Jimmy Olsen.
That's right.
Editor White of the Daily Planet wired the dispatcher that you two would be along. And we was to let you ride in the caboose or the engine cab if you wanted to. Your friend Kent ain't arrived yet.
Oh, then I'll wait.
No, you won't. This train is starting right now.
But it wasn't supposed to start till 6 o'clock. It's only 5 o'clock now.
Yeah, I know. We changed the schedule several days ago. We're pulling out from Metropolis in 2 minutes flat, kid.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Kent won't make it now.
It doesn't matter. There won't be any story anyway. Nothing's going to happen to this train. You can ride back to Metropolis, though. Now, kid, where you want to ride? Caboose or engine cab?
Oh, gee, the engine cab.
That's what I thought. Well, come on. Ain't a boy in the country wouldn't give his right arm to ride in the cab of an engine. Oh, say there, Jolly.
Yeah, what is it?
I got a boy here's going to ride to Metropolis with you. He's a newspaper man.
Well, is he now?
Yeah.
Well. Say, oh, did you hear that? We're going to have a celebrity riding with us.
Yeah, that's so. Dispatcher says it's okay, fellas. All right with you, lad. Up you go. There we go. There he is.
Yeah, well, me bucko, you're just in time. But we're just starting right this minute.
You want more steam?
Ah, we've got enough. Well, tell me, you comfortable, lad?
Oh, I'll be all right. Don't worry about me.
Good. And here we go for Metropolis.
Unknown to Superman, the train carrying the cargo of gold and Jimmy Olsen starts on its trip an hour earlier. We know, though Superman does not, that the Rainbow Bridge will be blown up as the train passes over it. What will happen? Be sure to hear the conclusion of this exciting story with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Look, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
And now, Superman, champion of the weak and the oppressed. He came to Earth from the planet Krypton, where physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a large metropolitan newspaper. As you remember, Clark Kent, as Superman, accidentally discovered a large, cleverly hidden cave within a mountain that lay close to the railroad tracks where the car, bearing $5 million in gold from Metropolis National Bank, had mysteriously disappeared. Meanwhile, Jimmy Olsen had just got aboard another freight train bound for Metropolis with another armored car bearing $2 million in gold. But, unknown both to Superman and Jimmy, the boss, mastermind of the train robbers, planned to blow up Rainbow Bridge, over which the train must pass, to get hold of the $2 million. As our story opens today, we find Superman in a large cave within the mountain where he has battled 10 desperados into submission. Fearful of Superman's continued ire, they have agreed to disclose the secret of the freight car's mysterious disappearance. Listen.
We get enough. We don't know who you are, but we get enough.
Good. And now will you answer my questions, gentlemen?
Sure. Go ahead.
Splendid. The first question I want the answer to is this. How did that freight car, the one standing over there, the one that was carrying $5 million in gold, how did you manage to detach it from the freight train and bring it in here?
Go ahead, Phil. You tell him.
I can't tell him. You guys know what the boss would do to me if I squealed.
The boss? Who is the boss? Come on, open up, or it's going to be just too bad for all of you.
We don't know, honest, pal. We don't know. We never even seen a boss. All the orders we ever had from him, we've gotten through a loudspeaker at headquarters or over this shortwave radio.
You've never seen him, eh? At the same time, you're pretty much afraid of him.
You don't know the boss like we do. Anything the boss wants to do, he does.
Like making freight cars, such as that one over there, carrying $5 million in gold disappear,
That's right, pal. The boss is a clever guy. He can do anything.
I'm beginning to wonder about that. How did you get that freight car in here? How did you separate it from a train of nearly 100 other freight cars without the engineer or anyone else on the train knowing anything about it?
Look, pal, I can't talk. The boss will kill me if he finds out.
What?
No. Don't hit me again.
Talk.
But I can't. I can't, you hear?
Talk.
All right. Okay, just don't hit me again. I'll talk.
I'm waiting.
The boss had it all figured out, see?
Yes?
Outside where the tracks run along the base of this mountain, there's a steep hill and a curve.
I know that.
When a train going downhill comes around that curve, the engineer has to slow down to 10 miles an hour.
Yes, go on.
Well, we had a couple of our boys disguised as brakemen on a train. And as it slowed down to 10 miles an hour, they uncoupled the freight car carrying the dough. Then they slowed down that one car to 7 miles an hour by using the wheel brake on top of it.
Yes?
So the front end of the train, going 10 miles an hour, went on ahead of the money car. And the rear end of the train was slowed down to 5 miles an hour by another brakeman. So you see, that leaves the money car coasting down the tracks all by itself with the front end of the train way ahead of it and the rear end of the train way behind it.
I see. But how did you get the car inside the mountain?
Oh, that was simple. We flung a pair of emergency tracks right on top of the regular track, switching the money car off the main line right into this cave.
Oh, I see. Then you quickly pulled up the emergency tracks and let the rear end of the freight train coast down and catch up with the front end.
That's it. We let the rear cars run free again, and they soon caught up with the other cars, which were still traveling slow. All we had to do then was to buckle them on again, and the job was done.
Certainly was simple.
Sure was simple. Nobody caught on to it, except you. Hey, listen. Listen, brother, who are you? Why the fancy costume? Where do you get your strength from?
Never mind that. Is the $5 million in gold still inside that freight car?
Yeah. The boss hasn't given us any orders where to ship it yet.
How about the crew of guards that was inside?
Well, we got them locked up in a safe place.
That shortwave radio apparatus. You get in touch with the boss on it?
Well, we...
Can you or can't you? Don't stall. Answer me.
Yeah, we can get in touch with him.
Get him.
But we...
You heard me. Get in touch with him and do it right away.
Okay. You're the doctor. Turn around, Joe.
Okay.
I'll start sending a signal. QX4 calling QXW. QX4 calling QXW. QX4 calling QXW.
QXW answering QX4. Come in, QX4.
This is Bill speaking, boss.
Yes, Bill, what is it? Nothing's gone wrong at Rainbow Bridge, I trust.
Rainbow Bridge? What do you mean by that? Go on, question him. You know what I want.
Well, what could go wrong at Rainbow Bridge, boss?
Nothing that I know of, but there must be some reason for your call. What do you want, Bill?
Tell him to come here at once. Tell him you've simply got to see him.
He'll never come. He'll expose himself by coming here. No one has ever seen him.
Bill, why don't you answer me?
Tell him to come here, quick.
Hello, boss. What I wanted was this. Can you come here right away?
Why, you know I can't come there. Are you out of your mind, Bill?
Tell him it's an emergency. You can't explain.
It's an emergency, boss. I can't explain.
An emergency? Why, what sort of an emergency?
Just say the $5 million. Just that, nothing more.
Oh, why are you driving that? Why should I say the
Bill?
Do as I tell you, or by heaven.
Okay, I'll do.
Bill, why don't you answer me? Why do I have to come there? What emergency are you talking about?
Boss, the $5 million in gold.
Not another word.
$5 million? Well, what about it, Bill? What about it?
Shut off that sending apparatus.
But I can't, I say. Okay, shut it off.
Bill, what about the $5 million? What's happened to it? Why must I come?
Good.
Say, I don't savvy this, pal. Just what are you getting at?
The boss knows there's something wrong. He doesn't know what it is. Except that it has something to do with the $5 million.
So what?
Just this, my friend. If the boss doesn't arrive here within the next hour, I'll be very much surprised. He'll be so worried about that $5 million he won't be able to wait.
But he'll kill me if he finds out what I've done.
Don't worry. He won't be in a position to do anyone any harm when I get done with him. One thing bothers me. What did he mean by asking if anything had gone wrong at Rainbow Bridge?
I don't know.
The boss wouldn't have asked you if you didn't know something. Now, come on, I'm not wasting time with you. What about Rainbow Bridge?
I tell you, I don't know.
There's a friend of mine on that train, the one that crosses Rainbow Bridge in about an hour. I'm not taking chances. Talk, friend, talk.
I'll talk. Don't hit me again, please don't.
I'm waiting.
The Metropolis National Bank is shipping through another $2 million in gold.
Yes?
The boss plans to blow up Rainbow Bridge and hijack the gold card effort.
Oh. How is that to be done?
There's a crew of men out at the bridge now. The dynamite's been laid. And when the engine gets to the other side of the bridge, the dynamite will go off.
I see. Well, there's plenty of time. It's 5:45 now, and the train doesn't start out from Larimer until 6 o'clock. It'll take it an hour to reach Rainbow Bridge. It'll arrive at the bridge until 7 o'clock. I've got at least an hour. 1 hour in which I can wait for the boss before starting for Rainbow Bridge.
But, unknown to Superman, the train schedule has been changed. Instead of leaving Larimer at 6 o'clock, the train left at 5, and is now only 15 minutes from Rainbow Bridge. Listen.
Hey, you want more steam, Charlie? No, there's plenty of left. All right, how are you enjoying your first ride in the cabin for locomotive?
Oh, gee, it's swell. Sure, I'm getting a kick out of it. One thing worries me, though, and that's why my friend Clark Kent didn't meet me at Larimer.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, but you see, he expected the train to leave at 6 o'clock, not 5. He didn't know the schedule had been changed. What time is it now?
4 to 6.
Gee, probably just getting to Larimer Station now.
Now we both know there's nothing to worry about. You missed the train, and that's all there is to it. Nothing you can do, so why don't you just relax and enjoy the ride, huh? Look now. We're coming to a real pretty view.
What's that?
Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, see, we're a little ahead of schedule. There's the bridge right ahead. Now, look at it. You see how beautiful it arches across the valley there?
Gee, sure is beautiful. How soon before we start to cross it?
Well, I guess it's about another 5 minutes, lad. Yeah, another 5 minutes and we'll be crossing Rainbow Bridge. And then, me bucko, you'll be having one of the biggest trips of your life. Hey, Bill, you think the boss will come?
I don't know. This guy here seems to think he will.
He'll come all right. Probably on his way here right now. I'll bet anything he's plenty worried about what's happened to that $5 million.
Yeah, but nobody's ever seen him. He's taking darn good care of that. Do you think he's going to let anybody see what he looks like now?
It depends on which is more important. The $5 million or his identity.
Oh, holy jumping. That must be him now.
Can he come through the tunnel that leads into this cave alone?
Yeah.
Good. We'll wait.
Yeah. Wait for the boss.
You ain't kidding. I never laid eyes on the boss. But when I do it, it's going to be a shock.
He'll be the one to be shocked.
He's at the door.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm nervous.
Is that the signal?
Yeah.
Good. Now to see who the boss really is. Bill, open that door.
Who is the boss? Do you know? And what about Jimmy Olsen? In a few minutes, the train on which he is riding will cross Rainbow Bridge. And the boss's gang is waiting to explode that bridge as the train passes over it. Can Superman, unaware of his young friend's danger, possibly find out in time to save him? Be sure to listen to the next thrilling episode with Superman. And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky, look! It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. From every corner of Space Academy, spilling out of dormitories, tumbling from jet cars, jumping from slidewalks, hundreds of cadets race across the grassy quadrangle and crowd into the administration building to hear the results of rigid midterm examinations. As the voice of the officer of the day crackles harshly over the loudspeaker, Tom Corbett and Roger Manning wait anxiously with the other cadets. Breathing a prayer, their names will be among those who pass, for failure means dismissal from Space Academy.
Casey, Serrano, Cooper, Copeland, Corbett.
Congratulations, Tom. You made it.
Thanks, Roger. I'd rather take acceleration from maximum rocket drive than sweat out that list.
Same here. Only one thing I'm worried about.
What's that?
That last power drive problem. I don't think I answered it the right way.
Hey, hold it, Roger. It's getting to the end.
Larkin, Maggio, Mallard, Mayfield, McQuarrie, Muller.
Hey, Roger, she didn't call your name.
That's it, Space Boy. I failed.
Oh, no, there must be some mistake, Roger.
No mistake. You know as well as I do. You're either on that list or you're not. I'm getting out of this uniform before I'm arrested for impersonating a space cadet.
And permission is hereby granted to Jonas Brady and Andrew Peters for exploration of secondary satellites of Jupiter's moons. Object of exploration, uranium pitchblende deposits. Permit for the above, LC 98452, dated 1 April 2352. Signed, Stephen Strong, Captain, Solar Guard. All right, I think that'll cover you, Brady. I'll put the Solar Guard seal on it now.
Say, I don't suppose you could tell Peters and me where we could find a good astrogator.
I'm afraid not, Brady. Shouldn't be too hard to get one, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, Captain Strong. I didn't know you were busy.
Well, that's all right, Corbett. Come in. We finished our business. What is it?
Well, it's Roger, sir.
Again? Well, what happened this time?
He failed to pass midterm exam, sir.
Failed? Well, that's impossible. He can astrogate as well as I can.
Roger thinks it was the power deck problem he missed, and I was wondering if you could do something.
You know Academy rules as well as I do, Corbett. If Manning's failed, he'll be dismissed from the Academy. Nothing can be done about it.
Excuse me, Captain.
Oh, yes, Brady.
I just wanted to thank you again for your help. We'd like to blast off as soon as we can.
Oh, of course. Here's your permit. And spaceman's luck.
Thanks. We'll need it. Come on, Peters.
Right, Jonas. So long, Captain.
Goodbye. Now, Corbett, let's get to the whole story. Is Manning positive details is...
Well, looks like we're set, Jonas.
Yeah. And did you hear about the kid getting kicked out of the academy?
I'm way ahead of you, Jonas. The best astrographer in the joint. He said kicked out. And we need an astrogator.
Strong said the kid's name was Manning.
What are we waiting for? Let's find a kid named Manning.
Captain Strong here.
Captain, this is Tom Corbett.
Oh, I was just going to call you, Tom. I checked the results of the midterm exams, and there was good reason for Manning not being on the regular list. He didn't wait for the honor list to be announced.
Honor list?
That's right. I don't know how he did it, but he posted the third highest average in the academy.
Oh, great. That's just fine.
Well, you don't sound very happy about it.
I'm not, sir. Roger's gone.
What?
I just got back to the dormitory. Found his lockers empty, all his clothes gone.
Why, that hot-headed young idiot.
I called the main gate, and he was checked out 15 minutes ago. He took a jet cab to the city.
Well, you better jet right after him, Tom. Find him and bring him back, or he'll be in trouble.
But, sir, it really isn't his fault. He didn't know.
He shouldn't have gone off half-cocked like that. Now, if he isn't here by bed check tonight, he'll be court-martialed for being absent without leave. And then he really will be an ex-cadet.
We'll return return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Fellas and girls, listen to this exciting announcement. Starting now, right now, you'll find exciting cutouts on the back of each and every regular package of Kellogg's Pep. And what are these cutouts? Well, they're real, true-to-life photograph cutouts of all your favorite Space Cadets. Here's your chance to get a complete collection of Space Cadet pictures. There's a cutout of Dr. Dale, one of Tom Corbett, Astro, and Roger Manning, too. Here's Tom Corbett to tell you all about it.
That's the truth, Spaceman. Right now at your grocery store, there's a package of Kellogg's Pep just waiting for you. And on the back, you'll find a photograph cutout of one of your favorite Space Cadets. Cut them out and pin them on your wall. Or you can paste them on your school book. And if you haven't got a full set, you can trade your extras for the ones you haven't got. It's a swell collection. So start getting your photograph cutouts of the Space Cadets right now.
That's right, Spaceman. And remember, there's another exciting Space Cadet photograph cutout on the back of each and every regular-sized Kellogg's Pep package. So don't delay. Ask your mom to get the Build-Up Wheat Cereal. Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Believing he has failed the rigid midterm examinations, Cadet Roger Manning has left Space Academy and taken a job as astrogator with Jonas Brady and Andrew Peters, two space prospectors searching for vital uranium pitch blends. But back at Space Academy, Cadet Tom Corbett has decided to ask for an emergency leave to go in search of his friend Roger Manning.
All right, Corbett, I'll give you the leave, but I don't think it'll do any good to look for Manning. By now, he could be any place. Mars, Venus, right here on Earth.
I'll find him, Captain Strong. I'm sure Roger would do the same for me.
Yes, I guess he would. All right. Here you are, 5-day emergency pass.
Attention, emergency alert. By order of Commander Arkwright, all leaves are canceled and all cadet units and instructors are to report to the main assembly hall on the double.
All right, cadets, stand to. Commander Arkwright has placed me in command of this emergency, and I want your undivided attention. All of you are acquainted with the vital work of the Solar Alliance in mining uranium pitchblende on Pluto. Without N72C, the mining operations on Pluto would stop, and our supply of raw uranium pitchblende would be cut to a dangerously low level. We've just received a report from our refineries on Mars that every ounce of N720, a new chemical explosive, has been stolen, and it will take 2 years to replace it. Who stole it and how it was stolen is the work of the security division. Our job is to get it all back before it is broken down into small lots and sold on the black market. Now, Commander Arkwright has ordered every available ship into space. Each of you will be given a sector to patrol. Your orders are simple. Stop every ship in your sector and search it. Your objective? 217 boxes of N72C. Any questions? Very well, then blast off according to emergency plan. And spaceman's luck.
Oh, Corbett.
Yes, Captain Strong. You'll come with me aboard the rocket destroyer Galileo. We'll patrol sectors 6, 7, and 8 in the orbit of Jupiter.
Right, sir. But is the situation really that bad?
Corbett, if we don't find that explosive, our production of uranium will be so low, half of all the spaceships now in flight will have to be grounded.
Destroyer Squadron 9 will patrol Earth Lunar space lanes, and Cruiser Group J will search the asteroid belt. Further assignments to follow. All ships are to be intercepted and searched for the missing N72C. Maintain standby watch of this frequency for orders from Central Spaceport Control. End transmission.
Boy, those poor jokers are really fusing their tubes about that stuff. Sure must be valuable. Well, none of my concern anymore.
You, Jonas? Jonas, ain't you?
No, it's Manning.
Huh? What are you doing here, kid?
Looking for you. Brady wants you.
All right, so you found me. Now beat it.
After I take a look at what's in that box.
No, stay away from there.
Why? I'm a partner, aren't I? I've got a right to see the supplies we're carrying. Say, wait a minute. Supplies, huh? This is N72C.
So what? We're prospectors, ain't we? We need explosives.
200 cases, pal? Cases that were stolen?
What do you mean, stolen?
Don't pull that innocent act on me. I just picked up a solar guard alert. They're looking for this stuff right now.
But they'll never find it, kid.
Brady.
I figured you were the type to get nosy, so I just put the ship on automatic pilot and came down to make sure Peters kept you out of here.
I couldn't keep him out, Jonas. You boys
Shut up, Peters. You couldn't stop a space rat.
Huh?
I ought to beat your head off for letting him see this.
No, there's no way to talk to a
Shut
partner.
up, I said. All right, kid. So we got a full cargo of N720. What about it?
I'm resigning from this partnership right now.
I got news for you, space boy. You're not back in Space Academy playing one of your little games now. The only way to resign from this outfit is to take a walk out in space without a spacesuit.
We're closing in on the outer moons of Jupiter now, sir. You can see them on the radar scanner.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I hate to think what a time we'll have if they reach those planetoids without us knowing it.
Hey, look, sir. A spaceship heading right into the thickest part of Jupiter's space junk.
Yes. And from the looks of her on the radar scanner, she's an old Venusian colonizer. All right, Tom. Stand by to intercept. Maybe this time we'll be lucky. Well, Hotshot, that destroyer's closing in.
Space Raider from Rocket Cruiser Galileo. This is Captain Strong of the Solar Guard.
Captain Strong.
Keep to and stand by for boarding party.
Well, Brady, what are you going to do now?
Peters, keep him covered.
What are you going to do?
Never mind. Keep him covered, I said.
All right, Jonas. All right.
Hello, Rocket Destroyer Galileo from Space Raider Jenny Alton. This is Jonas Brady speaking. Go ahead.
Keep to, Brady. We're coming aboard.
Coming aboard? Why? Anything wrong?
We just want to check your cargo. If everything's all right, you'll be cleared to go on.
I see. Well, I tell you, Captain, our main airlock mechanism...
He's lying, Captain Strong. There's nothing wrong with the airlock.
What is it?
Hey, what was that, Brady?
Why, that was just my astrogator telling me something. By the way, I think you know him, Captain. He used to be a cadet, fellow by the name of Manning.
Manning? What in blazes is he doing on your ship?
Oh, he signed on just before we blasted off. He likes the idea of prospecting with us. Figures in making a pile of money.
He does he? Well, let me talk to him.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Manning, come here.
Jonas, are you space happy?
Shut up. I know what I'm doing. Why, I'm sorry, Captain. He says he don't want to talk to you.
Well, listen, Brady. I want to search your ship. If we can't couple our airlocks together, we'll just have to board you in space.
No, don't do that, Captain. I tell you what, we ain't far from Jupiter. Now, suppose I touch down and you trail me in. Make it a lot easier. You can board me on the ground through the emergency power deck hatch.
All right. Get going, then. Change course.
Right away, Captain. You just follow me down and I'll wait for you. And transmission. That was easier than I thought.
Jonas, you must have been drinking rocket juice. You're taking us right into a trap.
I don't know why I got hooked up with a whining fool like you, Peters. I got Strong doing exactly what I want.
Oh, you have, huh? Well, as soon as he comes aboard, he'll find all them boxes of N72C, and that's what he wants.
Of course not. Now, you get to work right now and start loading the jet boat.
The jet boat? But...
No questions, Peters. Move.
Wait a minute. What about this kid? You talk.
Oh, no, you won't. After you're through loading the explosives, break out 2 spacesuits. Just 2. When Captain Strong comes aboard the Jenny Alton, he's going to find 1 empty spaceship and 1 dead body.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
This is Venus Space Station. Calling Space Academy Commissary. Request increased ration. Kellogg's Pep. Request increased ration. Kellogg's Pep. This is Solar Guard Station Titan. Calling Space Academy Commissary. Include double ration Kellogg's Pep in next shipment. Demand for Kellogg's Pep increasing every month. Space Academy commissary. Hey, what do you say, fellas? Let's have some pep, huh? Send up some Kellogg's pep.
Well, that's the story down at the Space Academy commissary. The calls are coming in from every space station in the solar system. More Kellogg's Pep. More Kellogg's Pep. Well, you spacemen know why, too. Every time you help yourself to that swell whole wheat and malt flavor, well, you can tell right off why Kellogg's Pep is making such a big hit with spacemen. And say, Kellogg's Pep helps the solar guardsman keep in trim by supplying him with vitamin D, vitamin B1, and many other essential food values to help him stay on the job. So give yourself the same energy blast off every morning with Kellogg's Pep. And remember, to get your pep, well, you don't have to call the Space Academy commissary. The corner grocery store is your commissary for the Spaceman cereal Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Tricking Captain Strong into landing on Jupiter, Jonas Brady has begun a desperate plan to save his stolen cargo of valuable explosive and get rid of Roger Manning. Now on the deserted wastes of Jupiter, where the gravity is 2.5 times that of Earth, Tom Corbett and Captain Strong leave the rocket prospector Galileo and in spacesuits and helmets struggle toward the Jenny Alden, partially hidden by a huge rock formation. A walk that will bring them face to face with death.
I'll never get used to Jupiter, Captain Strong. I don't know which is worse, the double gravity or all the quakes.
I know, Tom. This double gravity makes it feel like you're carrying 400 pounds on your back. Be careful and don't fall. You'll never pick yourself up.
Why did Brady land in that valley? He must have known we couldn't come in alongside.
Yeah, this whole setup is pretty fishy. I can't understand why Roger didn't want to talk to us. If he ever talked his way out of anything, it had better be now.
All set, Jonas. The N-72C is loaded in the jet boat, and I've got the 2 spacesuits.
Okay, Peters. I just saw Strong leave the destroyer with another guy and head this way.
I'm getting nervous, Jonas. What if they catch us?
You know something, Peters? I think you a yeller. Our little space cadet has got more guts than you.
You got no right to talk to me that way. Hey, Jonas, it's an earthquake. Hang on.
Just what I was hoping for.
What?
I spent 2 years prospecting this crummy planet right around here. Every 5 or 6 hours there's a quake. That ought to hold Captain Strong for a while. Now, get Manning out here in the jet boat lock. We're ready to move.
Wait a minute, Jonas. I've been thinking. Stealing is one thing. If you're caught, you get time on the prison asteroid. But killing, that's something else again.
Hey, wait a minute. What is this?
I don't like it. I don't want no part of it.
Why, you crummy little space rat.
Well, let's just blast off in the jet boat and leave the kid here. Won't do us no real good to kill him.
I'm giving the orders around here, and I say get the kid.
But, Jonas...
Get him right now.
All right. All right, Jonas. You win.
You bet I win, you little space crawler. Try to chicken out on me, will you?
All right, Manny. Come on out.
You guys sure picked yourself a nice graveyard to land in.
You're using the right word, kid. Move.
Well, Brady, where do you expect to go from here?
A long way, kid. Peters, you have his power all right?
Yeah, sure.
Hand it over.
Okay.
What do you think you're going to do now?
Kind of impatient, ain't you?
Come on, Jonas. Let's get this over with.
Sure, Peters, if you're glad to. All right, Manning, stand over there next to them spacesuits.
Hey, now, listen, wait a minute.
Watch, kids. Watch.
Captain Strong, the quake's getting worse. We've got to get to the Jenny Alden.
Just another 100 yards, Corbett. We can make it.
Take a look. A jet boat. It just blasted out of the freighter.
Blast them. They pulled a fast one on us. Hurry, Corbett. And pray they've left Roger alive. Captain Strong to Rocket Destroyer Squadron B, cover sectors 7, 8, and 9, Jupiter orbit. Intercept jet boat believed to be carrying stolen explosives. That is all.
Captain Strong! Captain, come here, quick!
Yes, Corbett, where are you?
Down here, sir, in the jet boat airlock.
What is it?
There, sir. Look.
By the rings of Saturn. Peters.
Yes, sir. Blasted by a parallel ray and left in the open airlock. He didn't have a chance. And look here, sir. These small chips that look like putty.
Well, that's M72C. That nails it. They did steal the explosive and escaped with it in the jet boat.
But where's Roger, sir?
That's what I'd like to know. I'd be interested in finding out how he's tied up with this operation.
But, sir, you don't think...
Wait a minute. Look at this.
A parallel ray. And it's Academy issue.
Not only that. Look at the name on the grip.
Roger.
There's been one shot fired. Probably the one that got Peters.
Well, then that explains it. Roger was trying to fight them.
He was? Well, then why isn't he here now? No, Tom, it looks to me like poor Peters was the victim of a double cross.
What?
And with the way Roger felt about the Academy, and the fact that he isn't here now, and the fact that he sailed on a ship with stolen cargo...
Oh, he wouldn't. He couldn't do a thing like that.
I'm just pointing out. When we find Roger, I certainly hope he can prove I'm wrong.
He must be able to prove it, sir. And if I have to go clear out to the next galaxy, I'll find him and make him prove it. So help me, I will.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when Tom and Captain Strong become space rats to follow a trail that leads them from the moons of Jupiter to the underworld of Venus in Part 2 of Double Cross in Space. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for a daily and in weekend edition. Featured in today's cast are Jan Merlin, Edward Bryce, Paul Ford, and Ian Martin. Today's program was written by Richard Jessup, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a...
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to a train headed for Calcutta and an exciting tale of the most sought-after emerald in the world, as Richard Sale tells it in his famous story, Figure a Dame.
You do it. You figure a dame. Take this Mrs. Arthur Bankner, whose body I'm hired to guard. A widow woman who wanted a piece of green ice so bad she came halfway across the world to this Raj Johor, this whistle stop in the middle of India. And then to the winter palace of a character named Samurai Dal. Him in his English jodhpur, his jeweled silk turban, his eyes like hard pennies. Him I didn't like.
The star of Kilimanjaro.
It has finally brought you to me. What, Mrs. Bankner?
Oh, yes, Sir Doll. Is that how I call you, or is it Mr. Doll?
However you call me, madame, will be satisfactory when you pay me the $150,000 we agreed upon. American dollars.
Give him the money, Joe. I can't wait any longer. Oh, I think I've lived my life for this moment.
First, we look at the emerald, huh, Mrs. B?
But Mr. Doll wouldn't... Oh, Joe, it's not done that way. This is India. A different customs, different manners.
How true, Mrs. Bankner.
First, we look at it. An old Brooklyn custom. Huh, Sam?
Of course.
Sir Doll.
The emerald. The star of Kilimanjaro. Fetch it, girl.
At once, Sir Doll.
Goes good with you, huh, Sam? Dancing girls with bells on their toes?
It's only adequate. I neglected to ask you this, Mrs. Bankner. Forgive me, but just who is this creature?
Joe? Oh, he's not a creature, Mr. Doll. He's... well, for one thing, he's a detective for the Magnum Insurance Company.
That explains a great deal.
You see, Mr. Doll, Joe, Mr. Harriman here, recovered some jewelry I lost in Paris. Oh, I was so impressed with him. I mean with how efficient he was. And
she means she persuaded Magnum to let me come along on this little buying trip for protection. Magnum thought it was a good idea, too. Now you know who the creature is. Now everything's gay, huh, Sam?
Sir Doll.
Thank you. You may go back, girl, to whatever child's game you are playing. I could weep at having to part with this. Here, the star of Kilimanjaro.
Oh, Joe, look at it, look. Oh, all my life, many, many jewels, but, oh, none like this.
Yeah. It's something. It'll do.
Oh.
You are satisfied, Joe?
Yeah.
And you, Mrs. Bankner, it satisfies you?
Oh, yes.
Then it remains only for me to be satisfied.
Give him the money, Joe. Give it to him.
Yeah, okay. Okay, here, Sam. You can count it if you want to.
I want to. Oh, exquisite money. Good. Oh, Mrs. Bankner.
Yes.
If, by some grave misfortune, you should lose the star of Kilimanjaro, or, more exactly, it be stolen from you, then please to refer the thief to me. I shall be happy to buy it back from him at a good price.
Mrs. B wanted to celebrate, so we went to the town's one hot spot, the Rasa Tal. It was a dive. And the props hadn't changed from Flatbush. Smoke, Oriental cigarette type, bartender, Oriental type, dames, any type. Complete with Lend-Lease jazz band, the joint was a shore-leave paradise with one great big advantage. No local ordinances. You name it, you can have it.
I'll have another swizzle, Joe.
Finish the drink you've got, and we'll see.
Oh, Joe, you don't have to be so solicitous. Oh, I've got the star of Kilimanjaro. I've got it, Joe, and we're celebrating, remember? Come on now, dance with me. Joe, what are you staring at? Joe.
Her.
Who, Joe?
That girl over there, the one against the bar.
She looks like an American, that one.
Yeah.
She's lovely. I only say that because she is. Now, you've looked at her, Joe. Now look back at me.
You know what? I've seen her before.
In Flatbush.
Here, in India. A couple of times before. I look up, and there she is, leaning against a bar, or watching the same rope trick, or being a part of the same crowd as me.
She's following you, Joe, to the ends of the earth. And I bet her resistance is getting lower from bar to bar.
Following her, yeah.
I heard you say something about dancing, lady.
Well, no.
They're avesting you from the poop deck, sailor boy. Beat it.
Oh, Joe, at least buy him a drink.
Buy him nothing. Go on, sailor, make an exit while the house is still with you.
I was saying to you, lady, I heard you want to dance. This guy with you ain't made a move.
Now, what would you have done? Tell me.
Me? I'd dance.
Yeah, you would.
What has happened here?
The Jolly Tar, he happened. Get him out of here.
Oh, yes, I mean, to hand. This man on the floor. Out.
You shouldn't have hit him, but... Joe, I liked watching you do it.
And I'm of the same mind. It was a beautiful thing.
Oh, you too, mister? You want to play, too?
No, McCoy, no. I know an Irish Red Cross when I see one, so I brought you both drinks. My pleasure.
Why, thank you.
I am not Irish.
You may not know it, son, but you are. You know, someplace on your tree there's an Irishman. Do you mind if I sit down?
Who are you? What's the...
A man like you, son. I can tell it by the turn of your lips. A seeker, you might say. After what now? A woman's smile? And there's that here in India. Fortune? There's that here, too. Things, that's what.
Without the Irish poetry, who are you?
Rafferty. John Rafferty.
We're happy to know you, Mr. Rafferty, even for just this moment. We're leaving now.
Oh, really? Goodbye. Let's stay, Joe.
Sleep. We'll need it. The train to Calcutta leaves early tomorrow.
And so it does. Then this is not goodbye after all. For I'll be on that train myself.
Sleep, I'd said. For the widow with the emerald, maybe, but not for me. I sat on the veranda of the Raj Johor Ritz just outside Mrs. B's room, and I could hear her making happy moans in her sleep. Once I heard a crawling noise. I got up, investigated, and found it was a noise made by something that crawls. Then came the dawn. I hustled Mrs. B and her bags into a Model T cab that took 2 hours to get to the railroad station a mile away. That I'd counted on, so we made the train for Calcutta on time.
Oh, Joe, just think, in a few days, Calcutta. Then the plane, then Paris, and then you leave me.
Yeah, that's how it was laid out, the itinerary. Go on in, I'll be there in a minute.
But aren't you coming with me?
No, Mrs. B, you go find your compartment. I'll bring the bags to you.
Oh, but... Oh, I see. The bar girl. That's who it is, isn't it, Joe? Coming this way.
That's who it is, Mrs. B. You won't want to be here when I talk to her, huh, Mrs. B?
No, but don't talk long, Joe. It's me that's paying you, remember?
So Mrs. B was on her way to her compartment. The star of Kilimanjaro and a little pouch with gold strings around her neck and inside her dress. This was the last lap. If anyone was going to lift the rocket, it had to be done before we got to Calcutta. And then the girl's perfume was inside me.
We've met before, haven't we? Where or when, I don't know, but we've met.
As good a way as any to get to know me. I'm Joe Harriman.
Marion Ryder. Seems we're always in the same places. On the train all the way from Bombay, at the cafe last night, here. Coincidental, isn't it?
Is it? I wouldn't know.
Well, of course it is. Wait, do you mean you've been following me?
A dream like you that makes you hungry inside? It wouldn't be hard.
Like that?
Like that. Traveling for your health, Marion?
No, business.
In this slop hole, something like you, business?
Well, I'm a kind of buying agent for a New York firm. Trinkets. That's it, trinkets.
Emerald trinkets?
Emerald would be lovely. I must find my compartment, Mr. Harriman. Maybe I'll see you again later?
Count on it, Marion. It's a promise I make to myself.
All aboard! All aboard!
I didn't see her again until later. I sat in my own compartment next to Mrs. B's and did a lot of thinking. Important thinking, and I didn't want it mixed up with her perfume. Maybe she was an out-and-out jewel thief, and that bothered me. She was a cinch to get caught if she tried to lift that stone. And you can't make that good time with a girl who's behind bars. I did my thinking like that for a long time. Had a couple of meals in between, and read, and did some more thinking. When I got finished with it, I was looking out of a window and seeing it was a night without moon. A night for company. I walked down to the club car and found what I was looking for. Hello, Miss... Oh, don't be frightened. It's me. That, kind of night out there get you down?
No. I was just toying with my memory. Sit down, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Toy with your memories some more. It wears wonderful on you. And then tell me about it.
All right. Now shall I tell you about it?
Uh-huh.
Out there, Joe, the night, the black hills, the strange little lights that flicker and swirl past you. It's like I wasn't on this train at all, but out there and part of it. Like something I've known and remembered for a long, long time.
Is that all?
That, Joe.
This?
Joe.
Don't say we shouldn't have done it, because we should have.
I know, but what must you think of me? What?
I'll tell you. Because I level with women who level with me. I think you're interested in me.
And
trinkets. Expensive trinkets. Like the star of Kilimanjaro.
I don't understand you.
Mr. Harriman. Please, come, hurry. Mrs. Bankner.
What's the matter with her?
She is very upset. I think something is wrong. She says you come right away. She is crying.
Excuse me, Marion. I gotta go to work. Come on, you.
Yes.
Mrs. B. Mrs. B, something wrong?
Oh, Joe, I had a nightmare and I woke up. I was so frightened.
No. All right, conductor, thank you. You can go now.
Yes, sir.
I called for you when I woke up, but you weren't there. Oh, Joe. Sit here and put your arms around me. Oh, Joe, hold me tight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's better like this. You close to me like this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look at me, Joe. What do you see?
You're so helpless I could kiss you.
Try me, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you're hurting me. Joe, what? Joe!
Her throat was soft against my hands. Her arms waved around for a little while. The look in her eyes was something I had never seen before. She didn't struggle much. She didn't do anything much. Except not believe it was happening to her. That she was being murdered. Then she quit believing anything. She was dead.
In just a moment, we will continue with Escape. But first, every Wednesday night, Groucho Marx, Bing Crosby, and Burns and Allen in 1, 2, 3 order on most of these same CBS stations. Hear them all tomorrow night on CBS. And now we return you to the second act of Escape.
There wasn't much trouble falling asleep after that. After I was sure Mrs. B was dead, and after I'd stashed the emerald where it couldn't be found. Wasn't much trouble falling asleep at all. Like being out with a beautiful dame, and she liked you. And you went home and put your arms behind your head and smiled to yourself. And you slept the best kind of sleep of all. It got to be 8 o'clock in the morning, and that was all right, too. Because there I was having breakfast in the diner with another promise I'd made to myself. Her name was Marion Ryder. And she poured my coffee for me.
I've been thinking, Joe.
Uh-huh.
I've been thinking it was wrong what we did last night.
I'll tell you why it wasn't, Marion. You want to hear?
Just don't lie to me.
I'm crazy about you. See, I don't even have to look down into my coffee cup when I say it, like you're doing.
I'm sorry. Just that...
Wait a minute, honey. Conductor. Hey, come here a minute, you.
Yes? What is it you wish, sir?
I wish this. I wish that you would go down to Mrs. Bankner's compartment and wake her up. Tell her this mush you waiters serve for breakfast is lousy, but tell her she's got to get some food in her.
Yes, sir.
Well, don't just stand there. I wish it, so do it.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Joe.
What are we saying, honey?
Don't call me honey.
Why not?
It's a word I don't care for. Just don't do it.
Yeah. No class, huh? Sure, wait till we get to Calcutta. I'll find the words that'll fit.
Joe. Leave me alone now.
But...
Calcutta is only a few hours away, Joe.
Sure. I know about dames, Marion. They need thinking time to make everything right with themselves. Sure. I'll see you later.
Morning, my boy. Morning to you. Morning.
Oh, hello, Mr. Rafferty.
Have you had your breakfast yet?
Yes, don't remind me of it.
Oh, you come along and have a coffee with me, then.
Thank you, but no.
Oh, by the way, my boy, Mrs. Bankner.
What about her?
Well, nothing about her, but I'm in the next compartment to hers, and I heard the conductor knocking on the compartment door just now, and she doesn't seem to answer.
Well, she sleeps heavy.
Oh, well, she's lucky. Well, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bankner? Breakfast, Mrs. Bankner.
What's the matter, conductor?
She doesn't answer. I've been knocking.
Oh, yes, sometimes she does that. Have you got a key to the door?
Yes, but...
Open it.
Very well.
Holy.
Something is...
Yes, something is all right. Come on in. Close that door. Look at her, will you?
Something is...
You said that. She's dead. I'll tell you something else. The lady's been murdered.
You said...
I said murdered. Look at the marks on her throat. Strangled.
Sir, her hand. Please, she is holding something in her hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is at that. A button.
Perhaps the man who did this thing to her. His button.
That's a real good, perhaps. Come on. Not a word about Mrs. Bankner to anybody, you understand?
Yes, but...
I'm a detective. I know about these things. Not a word. Come on. When do we get to Calcutta?
In 3 hours, noon. First stops are for water. A 5-minute stop at a village, Mipirai, then Calcutta.
As soon as we get there, telegraph to Calcutta to the police. Tell them what's happened. And that's all. You understand?
Yes.
Well, now we go in here. In here.
But this is Mr. Rafferty's compartment.
Yes, the guy who did it. Close the door. I think he got what he was after from Mrs. Bankner. Maybe we'll find it.
There will be trouble. You are searching his things.
I told you I'm a detective. I know how to operate. Now, let's try this closet. Let me see. Nothing here.
But the button...
I'll give it to you. I'll turn it over to the British police when we get to Calcutta. Here, take it.
Yes. But the button in Mrs. Bankner's hand was brown.
Gray. Can't you see the button is gray? Take it. We stood there staring at each other for maybe a minute, and then his eyes eased off mine. He made a kind of sloppy salute. He turned, went down the train corridor to wherever it is conductors hold their heads in their hands. It had been awful close, awful tight. Tearing a gray button off Rafferty's coat while I searched it and palming the button off on the conductor, that was a little task that took delicacy and timing. So I'm delicate with my fingers, and my sense of timing is perfect, and I'm sure of myself. And that adds up to a win. When we hit the water stop, I got off to stretch my legs, to let myself breathe the fresh air so it would cool me off inside. The little guy running like a monkey on top of the water tank looked neat and clean in his white diaper and green turban. The hills covered with snow looked good, far away, but good. And then an Irish mosquito buzzed in my ear.
It's a lovely panorama, those hills. Lovely. It's like music. Flutes and bells and a flight of birds.
Yeah, they're like that. I don't know the words to the music, but they're like that.
It's a pity Mrs. Bankner isn't here to enjoy them with you.
What about Mrs. Bankner?
What about Mrs. Bankner? Well, why, she's dead. Murdered. Surely you knew that, my boy.
How did you find out about it?
Oh, you know how it is on a train. Things get themselves whispered about.
How did you find out?
Now, easy, boy, easy. You're a fiery one, are you not? It's only that I saw the conductor look inside, and me being a kind of friendly human being, and smart enough to know conductors know things, I asked him why he was sad. Asked him in a way that made it easy for him to answer.
Quicker, Rafferty. Get to it quicker.
Well, he told me that you told him not to say a word about the murder. And I said, whose murder? And then he says, Mrs. Bankner's, and I said, oh. And he said he'd be disgraced because it happened on his train.
What else, Rafferty?
And the matter of the button was deeply puzzling to him.
Button?
Yes, the button. Now, isn't that a queer thing to be puzzling to him? Him with a murder on his hands.
The train got going after that. Me too, my brain, that is. Things going around in my brain. Everything got mixed up with that crummy little button and that crummy little conductor. Imagine a guy so scared he had to shoot his mouth off like that and shoot it off to Rafferty, of all people. Conductor needs a little talking to. A finger waved under his nose. The way it happened, I was standing on the observation platform by myself, and he came right up to me.
Mr. Harriman? I beg your pardon, Mr. Harriman.
Yeah?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Harriman, but lunch is being served in the diner. An early lunch. We shall be in Calcutta in an hour.
Come here, you.
I beg your pardon.
I said come here.
You wish it?
Uh-huh. You know something? You look worried.
Because I am.
Why?
This whole affair. The murder and the...
Button?
That, sir. And the other thing. You say Mr. Rafferty is the murderer.
I told you not to talk to him.
I told him hardly anything. I didn't tell him he was suspect.
Oh, it's good you didn't. Real good for you didn't. Just let Rafferty coast, you understand? Then when we get to Calcutta, the police will arrest him because you've got the evidence. The button.
I've got it. Only...
Only what?
Only I thought it was brown.
You did, huh?
It was brown.
You're sure of it?
It was brown. When it was in Mrs. Bankner's hand, it was brown. When you gave it to me in Mr. Rafferty's compartment, it was gray. See, I have it here. It is gray.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Sir?
Give it to me. Thank you. Now, you know what?
It was brown.
Yeah, it was. But I'm saying something. I'm saying, you know what?
Sir?
I'm saying you've got to go. You really got to go.
Sir, what are you doing?
Right now, you got to go.
It was gray. No, no!
Now everything was right. Everything in place. The button I had proved Rafferty the murderer of Mrs. B. The conductor, everybody would say the poor guy had a bad accident. Now all it needed was the payoff to a dream. And that would be something named Marion Ryder.
Who is this?
It's Joe. I'm bringing you pretty flowers. Let me in.
I don't see any flowers.
You will. Shut the door, Marion.
All right.
Keeps twisting around inside me. I love you.
You can't say things like that.
Stop me, Marion.
Like this, Joe. Like that.
One of those things. I meet you, bang. Electricity, just like that.
Joe.
I love you. I'd do anything for you. I never said that to a woman
Joe,
before.
wait. I've got to tell you something first.
What's to tell me? That you're a crook? That you followed me and Mrs. B so you could lay your hands on the star of Kilimanjaro?
No, Joe, wait.
You're too late, kid. Mrs. B is dead, murdered. The emerald's gone. Something wrong, kid.
Oh, so much. So much.
Oh, nothing is wrong. Rafferty, the Irish poet, is going to take the rap for it. He was after the emerald, too, but he's not getting it. Just the gallows. That's all Rafferty
Joe,
gets.
listen to me. Stop talking and listen.
No, kid, you listen to me. I get $50,000 for it. We'll take it back to Samurai Doll and sell it to him again. $50,000, you and me. We can die from so much joy. I killed her for you.
You? You killed Mrs. Bankner? You murdered her?
Sure. Kid, it wasn't hard. You mean that much to me, so it wasn't hard. It was almost a pleasure. A down payment on our happiness, you might call it.
Oh, you spoiled everything. Oh, Joe, you poor fool.
Marion, is that right, Joe? You're such a fool.
Get out of here, Rafferty.
No tricks, lad. This gun I hold makes holes in people. You're people, aren't you, Joe? Or are you?
What do you want here? Tell me before I go for my gun, I do foolish things like that.
I don't doubt it. But first I'll tell you, lad. I know how you planted a murder on me with a button from my coat. I know where the star of Kilimanjaro is.
So you're nothing but a filthy, stinking jewel thief, just like I figured.
Not quite, Joe. Marion, tell him how I know these things. Tell him who I am.
He's the chief of the Magnum Insurance Company agents in Bombay.
Rafferty, you're crazy.
No. Magnum cabled him to follow you and Mrs. Bankner to make sure the emerald got back safely. Magnum didn't trust you with a stone like that. They put another man on to make sure you wouldn't steal it. And you had to kill her.
They can't prove it. I'll pin it on Rafferty, so help me.
But you killed her. You just admitted it.
Only to you. Your word isn't worth dust. You're a crook yourself.
No. Not quite. Marion?
All right, I'll tell him. Joe, I happen to be Rafferty's wife.
She said it. It only took her a couple of seconds, but that's what she said. But it took a long time for the words and the sound to get to me. And you know something? Looking at her then, and watching her mouth move, she looked real sad and suddenly real lonely. You do it. You figure it, dame.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight we have presented Figure a Dame by Richard Sale, adapted for radio by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. Featured in the cast were Frank Lovejoy as Joe, Joan Banks as Marion, Sarah Selby as Mrs. Bankner, and Ben Wright as Rafferty. Also heard were Paul Frees, Harry Bartell, and Gary Merrill. Special music was arranged and conducted by Del Castillo. Next week.
You are on a small ship off the coast of Borneo. In the waters beneath you lies a fortune in pearls, and at your side stands a man from whose murderous greed there is no escape.
Next week, we escape with Floyd A. Nelson's exciting tale of reckless men and their lust for treasure. Seeds of Greed. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. It's Christmas time. Lots of mistletoe, lots of packages, lots of carols being sung. And never a man to overlook a chance to celebrate, George Burns gets into the act with a special program of what he claims are Christmas carols. George's sponsor had certain ideas about George's voice a few weeks ago and fired him from the show. And tomorrow night, you'll learn how George's fellow singers and Christmas shoppers in general react. For one of the merriest of holiday shows, don't miss George's and Gracie's program on most of these same CBS stations this Wednesday night. Now stay tuned for Hit the Jackpot, which follows immediately over most of these same CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Nestle's Ever-Ready, the instant cocoa. Nestle's Quick for great chocolate milk. And Nestle's chocolate bars now present Space Patrol. High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are in the Jupiter City atmosphere plant searching for a powerful bomb hidden by the criminal Boger.
Commander, listen. Hear that? It's a timing device. We're close to it. Here, this way. There it is. Well, we can figure out how to deactivate this thing. 10 seconds, Commander. Getting ready to go off.
If this isn't the right control, Jupiter City will be blown off the planet.
We'll return in just a moment with the thrilling story, The City of Hidden Doom.
Space Patrollers, this is Commander Corey. Let me ask you something. When Mom and Dad had the breakfast coffee this morning, did you have a good hot drink?
You know, you need a real warm-up for all-day power. That's why you should always start the day the Space Patrol way with a big cup of Nestle's Instant Cocoa. It's just loaded with good hot nourishment for real energy. And Nestle's makes the greatest hot cocoa you've ever tasted. It's rich, it's smooth, it's delicious. It's really out of this universe. Now, wait till you see what fun it is to fix. Now, Nestle's Ever Ready is so easy, it just about makes it simple. Now, listen, here's all you do. Just put 1, 2, 3 teaspoons of Nestle's into a cup and add hot water. That's all. Now, you're all ready to drink it and get your supply of morning pep. Nestle's Ever Ready is the complete cocoa, too. You add nothing but water because whole milk and sugar are already in it. You ought to see the lineup around here when they sound the Nestle's call. Everybody goes for that delicious Nestle's chocolate flavor. That goes for me, too. Why don't you get the Nestle's Space Patrol habit and ask Mom to stock your galley with Nestle's and drink it regularly, the way we do. And you'll have power to spare. That's Nestle's Ever Ready Cocoa in the bright red can.
And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, the City of Hidden Doom. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are aboard the Terra 5, bound for the planet Jupiter, where the governors of the 5 outer planets are holding a conference. Whatever problems these great leaders have to discuss, Buzz knows they are no more important than the one that faces him as Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. The entire United Planets are at the mercy of a criminal who controls a device that makes matter invisible. Walls and locked doors are no barriers, and delicate warning systems are no restraint to Rolf Boger in his pursuit of crime. Thinking of this powerful enemy, Happy has been unusually silent on this flight to Jupiter.
Worried about Bojo, Happy? You guessed it. For all we know, he might be right on our tail right now in that invisible spaceship of his, and we'd never know it.
He might be it, huh?
He can go anywhere he wants to and steal whatever he wants. And nobody will know about it until they discover what's missing. Being invisible gives Boger every advantage.
No, not quite. When the crime's committed with no clues at all, you'll know that Boger did it.
A lot of good that does. But he can get away with it again and again.
There's another thing to remember. Boger can steal money while he's invisible, but he can't spend it that way.
Yeah. If we could only nab him when he's on a spending spree.
That'll depend on Boger's temperament. He's like most crooks, there'll come a time when he'll have to show off, make a big public splurge.
But that might not be for weeks or months. You know, Commander, I've been thinking, what's to keep Boger from coming to the governor's conference? Being invisible, he could be right in the room listening to secret information.
That's one reason we're going to be there, huh?
But if he's invisible, what can we do?
We've forgotten those belts and electronic spectacles we took from Boger's men.
Hey, that's right. If Boger turns on that high frequency field to make himself invisible, we'll be invisible, too. And we can see Boger and capture him.
Well, we couldn't fool Boger that easy. Besides, I wanted to think I was come to Jupiter City to guard the governor. To give us freedom of movement for a plan I put into operation.
You're trying to trap Boger?
Yeah. He's got big ideas. We need more equipment. Equipment and materials that are hard to get.
For his frequency field transmitters and the control box.
Right. Our security lab technicians have examined a few pieces of Boger's paraphernalia that we've captured. They don't know how it works, but they know the materials that go into it. Now, here's the general idea.
In the city of Kuban, on the planet Saturn, Rolf Boger set up temporary headquarters almost next door to the local Space Patrol unit. Working at his desk, Boger seems to be completely unaware that a visitor is materializing out of nothingness only a few feet away. As the visitor turns the control on his belt, Boger flips a switch on a panel at his right.
Yes, Rubeck, what is it? Well, Commander Corey is in Jupiter City. Corey's at the governor's conference. Major Robertson, the security chief, will act as executive officer at Terra headquarters.
Did you find out anything else?
No. I didn't wander around because I didn't want to step outside the beam and suddenly find myself visible with the Space Patrol guards all around me.
So Corey's guarding the governor, huh? Mm-hmm. We are blasting off right away to Jupiter City.
But Corey's there. Didn't you just say
I
it?
said to listen. Now, I have managed to pick up some very interesting information. Information about the shipment of some very hard-to-get electronics equipment.
Yes? What kind?
Elements we can use in our transmitters.
Where is it?
In the warehouse, 23 at Jupiter City Spaceport. Now, here's the plan I worked out. When we get to Jupiter City, we'll get a large surface truck, a van. There will be a field transmitter in the truck to make it invisible.
That's great. Park it close to the warehouse, fill it up with invisible equipment, take it to our spaceship and blast off.
During the few short hours of night on Jupiter, the small warehouse, number 23, is deserted. Buzz and Happy wait in a tiny locked office, each of them wearing a belt that, when energized by an ultra-vibration field, will make them invisible. On their foreheads, ready to be snapped into place over their eyes, are the special electronic spectacles that let a totally invisible person see ordinary matter as well as other invisible objects. Happy peers through a small hole in the office partition, watching a stack of crates.
What is it, sir? It's starting to fade out. So are you, Commander?
We're becoming invisible. It means our belts are picking up radiation from our soldiers' pants now.
You must be outside the warehouse.
Put the spectacles in the case. Like that stack of equipment.
Yes, sir. Somebody just stepped through the wall of the warehouse, sir.
Is it there? What's it going to do?
No, sir.
Go back inside and inspect this office.
There's nothing toward the equipment now.
I'm sure it's a warehouse, but I could move back to the stolen site. I've located what we're after. The van isn't any too big either. There's quite a lot of stuff here. Make sure there is no watchman around. Now, there's nobody here. Anyway, there's a small office just to the right of the crate. Looks like it's locked up.
Go inside and make sure. I divided the electron field so they walk through the partition.
All right. Nobody in the office, Bojan.
All right. Get busy and load the van.
Some of those boxes are pretty big. I may need some help.
I am not leaving the truck unless I have to. Get busy.
All right.
Boja's probably in the cab of the truck. We could grab him while his pal Rubek is in the warehouse.
I can't feel his dangerous now. Boja would suddenly alter it to cut it off. It might catch Rubek back in and half out of the side.
I never thought of that.
Without putting Boja off, we've got to find out where the castle is.
Here comes Rubek with a crate, sir. Right through the warehouse wall.
All right, there's the first one, Bojan.
Hurry up. I want this truck loaded before the day crew shows up.
You picked the easy job, all right. Sitting up there in the cab.
Somebody's got to keep watch. Now hurry up.
Rubek makes trip after trip from warehouse to truck while Boja watches from the cab. But when the van is full, Buzz and Happy climb aboard. Invisible men in an invisible truck.
Everything's all right, Bojan. Let's get going.
All right. Well, it looks like it is a profitable night's work, Rubek. Yes, sir. A profitable night's work.
In the dark interior of the van, Buzz and Happy are aware only of motion. It swerves from side to side as the big truck rumbles to an unknown destination. In several moments, it comes to a stop.
I wonder where we are. At the stage of thinking the same way as a van. I can hardly wait to see the look on Boja's face. Let's work our way up to the door here. Don't make any noise. Okay, sir. I wonder if the truck is still invisible. I don't think so. Step low.
Let the truck go for a minute, Rubek.
Don't you want it unloaded?
It will be all right here in the garage. Come on.
All right.
Garage, you say? You're in the garage. Boja and Rubek are waiting for you. I'll give us a chance to go to the van and be ready for it. Let's go. Easy, I'm making it in. It's all clear, sir.
Okay, jump in. Got a place to hide where they can watch the truck. And how about... Commander!
Don't reach for your weapon.
Bolger.
Keep your blaster on them, Rubeck. The trick backfired, Corey. Now you're in my trap.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, here comes Tony Sides. Well, Pete, he's growing a mustache.
Who? Me, Captain Truesdale? What do you mean?
Why, you sure have.
Ah, gee whiz. That's no mustache. That's a Nestle's cocoa. You see, I had a cup just a few minutes ago. Well, I guess I was in such a hurry to drink it, I got some on my upper lip. I'll lick it off. Gee, that's good.
See, that's what everybody says, Tony. Nestle's Eveready makes the best cocoa in the universe. It's so rich, so chocolatey, and so smooth.
Since we got the Space Patrol habit at our house, all my brothers and sisters drink Nestle's cocoa for breakfast. We love the way it tastes. And boy, we sure love the pep it gives us. Starting the day with a hot drink is real smart. Especially when that drink is Nestle's cocoa.
You said it. And Nestle's Eveready is so easy to fix it practically makes itself. You just put 1, 2, 3 spoonfuls in your cup and add hot water, and that's all there is to it. Milk and sugar are already in Nestle's, so you don't have to add a thing.
Say, as long as Nestle's cocoa is so good and so easy to fix, well, I mean...
You mean we ought to fix us some real fast and maybe both get mustaches?
You bet.
Gang, how about you? If you haven't tried the Space Patrol way to start the day, don't wait anymore. Chow up for delicious Nestle's cocoa. Ask your mom to get Nestle's in the bright red can. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the City of Hidden Doom. By means of an electromagnetic field that renders matter invisible, Ralph Bolger and his accomplice Rubeck were able to steal electromagnetic equipment from a warehouse at the Jupiter City spaceport. Hoping to capture the criminals, Buzz and Happy hid in the trunk. When the vehicle halted, the space patrollers thought Bolger and Rubeck had temporarily left the scene. Upon leaping from the truck, however, Buzz and Happy were surprised by the criminals, who rushed them with blast guns.
That's it, Corey. Hold your hands high. You too, Cadet. Take their weapons, Rubeck.
All right. Well, how about those belts they're wearing?
Remove them. They won't be needing them anymore.
What are you going to do when the Space Patrol places this van here to the garage, Bolger?
The van cannot be traced, Corey. It was driven here with the invisibility field on.
When did you find out we were in the truck?
When I was loading it back at the warehouse, I saw you duck behind a box, Cadet, so I pretended to come back and check the warehouse once more.
Get into that room, Commander. Go on.
You heard of me. Both of you, get moving.
I will lock you in here while I tend to a small errand. And you'll find out for yourself that it is impossible to escape. You can shout and pound all you want. No one will hear you.
In case someone calls while you're out, what'll we tell them?
Well, you can just tell them that we are helping ourselves to the vault at the Jupiter City Bank. But don't worry, no one will be here asking for us.
The Jupiter City Bank? Well, that's one of the best guarded banks in the United Planets.
Yes, I know. But we can walk right through Endurium walls, calmly help ourselves, and walk out.
We won't even trip on a wall.
We'll see us soon, Corey, for the last time. Shut the door, Rubeck.
Well, when I looked at this place, Bolger's invisibility gadget is the only thing that could get us out. It's a heavy door and there's no room. How can we know how to use the battery now? After we've been cleaned out, Bolger must have kept the room ready for a use like this. Look carefully and every time I have to come forward with anything that can mean a way out of here. We're out of luck, sir. Anyway, we tried. There's one place we haven't looked. Unless there's a trap door in the floor, I don't know where it'd be. There's a beam running across the ceiling. I'll boost you up, you can reach it. Well, sure, but I don't see what... You haven't much time. Just sit on my shoulder. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, Commander. All right, Hap. Get along the top of the beam. I'll walk from one side of the room to the other. I don't think we'll find anything. There's barely enough room for my fingers between the beam and the ceiling. Cover every inch very carefully. Find anything? Just dust and some spider webs. I'll move farther down. Hold it, Commander. Here's something. It's a smooth strip of metal. Yeah, I guess it... Whoa! Endurium bomb. Jump down, Hap. This may do it.
not very big, sir. You couldn't hammer the door down with that.
No, but it may be thin enough to strip through the crack at the hinge side of the door. If the Durian doesn't bend, we may have an effective crowbar.
Well, let's try it.
Sit back. We've only had another 2 minutes. No chance. This barn may come in here. You open the door, stand clear. Yes, sir.
Come on out. I said come on out. You've got something behind your back, Corey. And you will notice I have a blaster in my hand. Now drop whatever it is you are hiding and don't come any closer. Now, if you don't drop that tool or whatever it is, I'll fire.
All right.
I see I returned just in time. By the way, Commander, our visit to the bank was quite profitable. I am now a millionaire.
Bolger, we've been tricked.
What do you mean?
It's crates we took from the warehouse. There's nothing in them but junk.
What?
Open a couple of boxes. It's nothing but scrap metal and some old useless electronics equipment.
Back, you fool. You loaded the wrong crate.
No, I didn't. The numbers checked the list you gave me.
Corey, you had something to do with this.
You didn't think I was going to give you new equipment, did you?
Oh, that's how you happened to be in the warehouse, huh? You planted that information on one of my agents.
Right. I found out who he was from one of your men we've captured.
Why, you...
Watch it, Bolger. You'll blow a gasket.
I show you that nobody makes a fool of Ralph Bolger. Your life isn't enough to pay for this swindle, Corey. The entire city's going to pay the penalty.
What are you talking about?
The United Planets are going to learn to respect me. And to teach them that lesson, I'm going to destroy Jupiter City.
Wait a minute, Bolger.
Shut up, Ruben. Those explosives in the subcellar of this building. We are going to get them.
There isn't enough there to destroy a city this size, and anyway...
One bomb will do the job. If it's exploded in the right place. In the atmosphere plant.
You can't be serious. You know what will happen if that plant's blown up?
Of course. The atmosphere shell will be shattered. The heavy poisonous gases of Jupiter will pour into the city.
This mass murder of innocent people, what good is it going to do you?
It will teach the entire universe the folly of defying Ralph Bolger.
What about us? Putting the city down around our own heads isn't...
You idiot! You don't think I intend to stay here, do you? By the time the bomb explodes, we'll be thousands of miles away from Jupiter.
Go back, listen. Don't let this maniac horseshoe...
Shut up! I know what I'm doing. After you unload that junk out of the van, you are going to help Rubeck bring the bomb out from the cellar.
Moments later, an invisible truck bearing its deadly cargo rolls through the streets of the unsuspecting city toward the atmosphere plant. Leaving Rubeck at the truck to direct a protecting beam of invisibility, Bolger forces Buzz and Happy to carry the bomb to a vital part of the building.
Just keep going, gentlemen. A little faster, please.
How can we go faster? We can't even see. Why didn't you let us wear those electronic spectacles?
You might be distracted. Just a few steps more. There. Set the bomb down. Now, stand back. I'm going to set the timing device. And just remember, I'm still covering you with this blaster, so don't attempt anything daring.
How much time are you giving?
Just a half an hour. The bomb will explode at 1,600 hours. You may be interested to know that it is resting in a hollow space between two thick concrete walls.
Well, no one could possibly find it.
Exactly. And also, where it will do the most damage. Now, let us return to the truck. I'm rather anxious to get to the spaceport and blast off. I trust you understand.
Driven by Bolger, the invisible truck races to the spaceport, with Buzz and Happy in the rear under the watchful eyes of Rubeck. As the truck goes to a stop, Bolger calls back to his miniature spacephone.
Everything okay back there, Rubeck?
Yes.
You wait here in the truck until I get the spaceship ready for blast off. I've loosened the bracket on the invisibility field transmitter so you can carry it with you to the ship.
All right.
And remember, keep that invisibility field on until you're aboard the ship.
Yes, I know. Get going, Bolger.
Okay. I take care of the money. When you leave the truck, lock Corey and the cadet inside. I'll see you later. Hold your out.
Rubeck, listen. You don't want the destruction of an entire city on your conscience. Let's go back and deactivate that bomb.
Are you crazy? Even if I wanted to, I couldn't find it. I was in the truck, remember? And you two weren't wearing electronic spectacles, so you couldn't find it either.
At least we could try.
Yes. What have you got to lose? It's different. Getting aboard that ship with Bozier. And my share of $1 million credits.
Rubeck, listen. Bozier will double-cross you sooner or later. He's done it to the other
Keep
guy.
quiet, Cadet. I'm getting ready to run for the ship when I hear the word from Bozier. I'm getting out of the truck. I want you to hand me that field transmitter. Remember, I've got this blaster ready. All right, Corey. Bring me the transmitter.
Okay. It's rather heavy.
Corey, you clumsy fool. You set off the field.
Well, so I have.
Rubeck, what's the matter with you? Why did you cut off that field?
Are you ready to blast off?
You idiot! What do you think the guards will do when they see the big truck suddenly appear out of nothing in the middle of the blast-off strip?
Corey did it. Shall I come aboard now?
You bungler! I can see two patrol cars heading this way now. To take the truck off the strip, I'm blasting off.
No, Bozier. Wait for me. The bomb! You can't keep me here. Wait, Bozier, wait! Done.
We're in the same fix we are now, Rubeck. Might as well help us find that bomb.
I've still got a chance. Small private cruiser over there. I'm blasting off when I catch up with Bozier. That satchel there in the truck. The joke's on Bozier. He took the wrong satchel. The bank money's in this one. Come on, or I'll blast you.
Give it to him, Bob.
Yes. Now, heading to that cruiser. If anybody tries to stop me, I'll blast them to bits. So long, Commander.
Commander, can't we do anything to stop him?
I think so. I've got my pair of electronic spectacles. Somewhere here in the truck.
Yes, sir.
I'll get this field transmitter to work again. It's on. I if I can focus it on you back.
Here are the goggles, sir.
Thanks. Find a pair for yourself. This trucker's going to be invisible in a few seconds.
Then the patrol cars won't see us.
That's not important now, Hap. Let me have that miniature spacer phone.
Yes, sir. Commander, Rubeck's almost at the cruiser.
Rubeck, this is Commander Corey. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thanks for making me invisible.
How do you think you're going to operate a spaceship when your hands will pass completely through the controls?
What?
Remember, the ship will still be solid matter, and you're practically a phantom, a ghost.
Corey, cut off that field.
I'm getting the orders now. You're going to help us locate that bomb. It's your only chance to save your own skin.
All right. You in, Corey.
Now throw that blaster down and come back to the truck.
I'm coming.
Smoke and rockets, Commander. It's 10 minutes to 1600. We've got 10 minutes to save Jupiter City.
With a thoroughly frightened Rubeck between them in the front seat of the truck, Buzz and Happy rushed the huge, invisible vehicle through the streets to the atmosphere plant. Then they watched carefully as Rubeck, trembling with fear, adjusted the transmitter, projecting a beam of invisibility through a solid structure of the plant.
There. That's the way I had it adjusted before.
All right. Come on, Rubeck. Let's get that bomb.
I'll wait here at the transmitter. Something may go wrong.
It's sure to go wrong if you're here.
Yeah, after we shut the bomb off, you'd cut the field transmitter and leave us stuck somewhere inside a concrete wall.
No, I promise.
We're taking no chances. Come on.
No. Well, I won't go in there without someone to watch me. I don't want to be buried alive.
We haven't got time to argue, Rubeck.
Let go of me!
This'll keep you quiet.
I hope he stays out cold until we get back.
If we don't hurry, we won't get there. 2 minutes, that bomb will go off. Come on, Hap.
I sure hope we're going in the right direction.
In the distance we walked to Bozier, the bomb must be in the east part of the building.
Well, that isn't much help. It would take hours to search between all the walls, and we've only got a minute.
Now, wait, Hap. Remember, Bozier made us turn to the left. Keep us from going down a ramp to the third level.
Yeah, that's right. That means we're on the second level.
That's this way. I know where it is now. Hurry.
I hope you're right, Commander. Oh, wow, look at the time. In a few seconds, that bomb is going to blow Jupiter City clear off the planet.
There's a ramp, Happy. Now turn left, right through this wall.
Yes, sir.
Now we're in the space between two walls.
Commander, listen. Hear that?
A timing device. We're close to it. Here, this way.
There it is.
I hope we can figure out how to deactivate this thing.
10 seconds, Commander. It's getting ready to go off.
If this isn't the right control, we're finished.
Commander, this is something I never thought I'd be able to see.
What is it, Peter?
It's now 10 seconds after 1600.
Time to get to work. Lug this bomb, up to the truck, put it over to the munitions office. Come on.
Hey, Rubek, wake up. Snap out of it. You've slept long enough.
The bomb. What about the bomb?
Oh, it's all taken care of. Safe and deactivated in the back of the truck.
Sit up, Rubek. I'm driving you to headquarters.
If ever I get my hands on him.
Oh, you'll be seeing him very soon, Rubek, at the Criminal Rehab Center.
Right, Hap. Now that we've got an invisibility field transmitter, we can fight Boger with his own weapons.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Space Patrollers, can you pass this quiz? What does every active, alert fellow and girl need every single morning?
A good hot breakfast drink.
Right. Now, what's the best hot breakfast drink there is?
Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa.
100% correct. It's an easy quiz because we all know that for real warm-up pep, you want to start your day the Nestle way. Just put 1, 2, 3 spoonfuls of Nestle's in your cup, add hot water, it's all made, all ready to drink. And man, what sensational flavor. Rich, chocolatey, delicious. There's no other drink like it. Why don't you tell Mom about Nestle's? Remember, the rich whole milk and sugar are already in it, so you don't add a thing but water. And here's the final question. What do you look for at your grocery store?
Nestle's Ever-Ready Cocoa. Bright red can.
Nestle's Ever-Ready. You said it.
And now a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are on Neptune following the criminal Ralph Boger into a deserted factory building. An invisibility transmitter concealed outside enables them to trail Boger through the solid walls of a huge metal tank.
Wow, it's sure dark in here.
I've a chance to close in on Boger. Let me step through the other side of the tank. Rush him.
Yes, sir. Commander, the wall is solid. We can't get through.
Something happened to our invisibility field transmitter. We're sealed inside the tank.
Be with us again next week for the thrilling Space Patrol story, Escape from Neptune. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Ken Mayer, Bela Kovach, and Tony Side. Dick Tufeld speaking. This week's Space Patrol was brought to you by Nestle's Ever-Ready, the instant cocoa, Nestle's Quick for great chocolate milk, and famous Nestle's chocolate bars. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood.
This is ABC Radio Network.